YouTube. Wait for that to propagate through the internet. Go, hit reload. And I'm gonna pop out that chat once that thing comes to life. I have a Twitch notification. All right, let's see here. What's next? Hit refresh again. There we go. Fixing up the sonic levitator. Sounds like it's a lot crazier than it actually is. I wonder what a sonic levitator would look like with a Schlierenen optical setup. That would be kind of interesting. Hello, 3 viewers. How are you? Those of you who've left the web pages open. I think I might have to do an insulin pump session in the middle of this. I got 8 units to my name right now, and I ate lunch, and I bolused for lunch, but then it's got to correct because my glucose level flies up into the atmosphere, which I guess something like Ozempic is going to help me with because I won't be tempted to eat as much lunch. So it will likely be easier to manage. We got lots of little bits and bobs sitting out on everything right now, just because I've been pulling everything out to try to organize things around here, try to get a little semblance of cleanliness. I've got family coming in like a little bit. I forget when. It's like I don't know. I think I have a couple weeks, but I want to get the place to be just a little bit less embarrassingly dirty. I think is what I'm trying to say. And organize this project bins a little bit more. There's like 2 or 3 more bins sitting on the shelf, and they're full of just stuff. So I've got to dump them. Maybe we'll do that on Friday. We'll do more sort of piddling through all of the little bits and bobs that I've got in those bins. What's up, 3D lasers? Hello, all. All is maybe 2 other people, and they're probably bots. there's nobody yet. You're the first. Eventually, Chrome is going to break all of my plugins, and that's when I'm going to get real mad. I don't know what I'll do then. I'm really considering, yay first, yeah. I'm really considering going over to Linux, making this whole setup Linuxy. Apparently, the Fusion 360 stuff works, and if push comes to shove, I guess you can use Fusion 360 in the browser, so I could do that as well, and still have, you know, because AutoCAD is the only application that is keeping me from going full bore Linux. It's the only thing that I use that isn't done better in Linux because they just don't support it. But like everything I do, it's like programming microcontrollers. Yeah, that's much better in Linux. Playing games, yeah, that's typically better in Linux, although there can be problems. Streaming, OBS works in Linux from what I hear. Not phoning all of my personal data home to a large conglomerate corporation. Yeah, you can almost do that with Linux. Maybe not as much as you'd want, but certainly a lot better than Windows 11 and stuff. Are there any applications that are very specific to Windows that maybe there will be a game in the future where I'll be like, damn, I wish I could run Linux on this thing, but I've yet to find it. So something I found out with the 3D connection mouse is that that Bluetooth connection, and maybe, you know, it might be possible for me to move the Bluetooth dongle all the way over here to the desk where the Bluetooth thing is. Like, you know, if I could put it on, that's a powered hub. Put it on this, put it on that, and have it still function. Or I need to find like a USB-C Bluetooth module, because what happens is when I plug the mouse in like this, it feels very slow, because it's sending its data over Tequin Dragon. Tequin Dragon. I can't say it right. Couldn't sleep, might as well get up to say hi. What's up? Hey, thank you for the 14 months already. Holy crap. 14 months. Thank you so much. I really appreciate those subs. It's very, very nice of you. You guys might have been able to see the ideal light indicate to me that there was a sub. What's up, Mahalo? And Red Dog, what's going on? Yeah, people are showing up now. Cool. So if I can move Bluetooth a little closer, what happens is when I plug this into a data plug, which is that one, it gets a lot of data, and so it suddenly has, like when I move my thing, it'll actually move. Wait, where's my blank tab? This is bullshit. Hold on a minute. Chrome // plugins. Oh my God, there's a wire right on the keyboard. Ah, it just annoys me. I don't mind wires in my computer setup, right? What is it? What are Chrome extensions? Chrome Web Store. Blank new tab. Blank dark new tab page. Add. Add. There you go. No personal information. Keep it. Perfect. There. Now we can actually continue on. Even though I probably should have gotten one that's a little bit more like gray, but whatever. This is fine. This will work. Yeah, so anyway, when I plug the mouse in directly, it's super smooth, but when I unplug it and I use it wirelessly, the Bluetooth dongle is something like 3 feet away. It's just right over there. It's within specifications, close, but I'm also wearing a bunch of Bluetooth low energy stuff, so I don't know what the airwaves are going to look like with all this Bluetooth stuff floating around. So when I unplug it, the rate that it gets data from the mouse decreases significantly, probably because of packet loss. And so when I move the mouse around, here, watch. So that's one. This is me just doing little circles, and then I'll unplug the mouse. And this is me doing little circles. Look at how big the circles are now. Those are roughly the same movement from my hand. It's just covering so much more distance. And I don't think that's down to, well, I mean, it is getting a lot of data, but I don't think that's down to the tuning. And so I restarted this computer before stream today because this was happening. The movement was chunky. That circle, if you guys are watching, that circle's not quite, that's not quite a circle, right? And so I was making the O in, what was it, Old Project, and it made this kind of clunky, weird O. And I'm pretty adept at drawing with mice, right? I do a lot of the MS Paint stuff on the stream. I was like, what's going on? I guess this computer must have like a memory leak or something. It must be out of RAM and everything's kind of struggling. Now it's just the mouse. Just the mouse not giving a lot of data because Bluetooth is going too far and it's got a lot of packet loss, probably. Just a theory. I guess I could open up Wireshark or a similar program and use that in order to determine how much, you know, what kinds of packets are floating around in the air. If it's like a bunch of like, hey, repeat yourself. Hey, repeat yourself. I don't know. It's maybe not worth doing. I could try to move the Bluetooth dongle closer. I could just keep the mouse plugged in because I don't really care about the wire as long as it doesn't get behind the keyboard. Because when it gets behind the keyboard, it'll block keys from getting pressed, which is just the height of my annoyance with that system. But I mean, look, we're not living clean over here. This is a big mess. This whole shop is always just a big mess. So my life is a big mess. My shop is a big mess. That's just the way it is. I gotta learn to coordinate within that. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. Maybe there's another program for that. I know you can't just dive into the Windows settings and monitor the airwaves. You probably have to get something to do that. I mean, we can check. This mouse feels so slow right now. The 3D connection software is not started up yet, so I can't adjust without starting it up specifically. Go deep. Is Wireshark just for network packets? Bluetooth. Capture setup Bluetooth. Yeah, it looks like it does. Bluetooth traffic to or from your machine on Linux in Wireshark with libpcap. Stupid libpcaps. And later, if the kernel includes BlueZ Bluetooth stack. There you go. Debian and Debian derived. Libcap 0.8 does not. Okay. So yeah, it turns out you can Wireshark's a pretty versatile tool, but yeah, I guess you could take a look at what kind of Bluetooth messages are up. And when we were working on the steering wheel, because that has a Bluetooth low energy modem in it that we had to fake So I built a whole program that fakes out being oh God, it's stormy out. We might get a big lightning clap in the middle. If my stream goes down, that means we lost power. I'm not going to pull the stream back up. We'll consider that a rage quit. So if the YouTubers who are watching the VOD can simply move their mouse down to the bottom of the screen and see whether or not my power went out today. I don't think it will though. We've had pretty good power lately. It did go out when we got like an incredible storm here. It did go out, and we used the generator for 3 days, and our energy bill, because our energy, it's all of our energy in one bill. It's gas and electric. That sucker went up. That went up. That was like it makes it a little less expensive than getting like a cheap hotel. A little, but you get to live your life. You know, you can do laundry if you can really afford all that energy. So the overall conclusion is the generator is a net good, but barely. It is very debatable whether or not we should just suffer the power outage or not. You can throw in the excuse that I'm a diabetic and so I need to have electricity in order to not die. But that's for more of like an extended period of time. But bruises. I should probably be wearing long sleeves, except for the fact that we've got like a triple hot heat wave in the area. And this storm is supposedly going to break it a little bit. So I'm privileged enough to live in the same electrical grid as the local hospital, so power cuts are rare. That's pretty nice. I wonder what kind of leverage hospitals and stuff have on... you almost... If you could really typo that word and come across in a totally opposite... yeah, anyway, so if the power goes out, our power's been really stable, so hopefully it won't. I was talking about something before that, and I totally lost it. But yeah, big storms rolling through. Big storms. Oh yeah, when we were looking at the Bluetooth stack. Aha, I got back. I remembered. Every now and then, a couple neurons kind of hit the corner of the screen, and the DVD logo changes color. Anyway, and I have a thought. the neurons sparkle, and I wake up. Oh, wait a minute. I do thing. I was talking about the Bluetooth low energy stack, or all the Bluetooth traffic that goes on around this shop. When we were working on the steering wheel, we had the privilege of getting neighborhood alert. Severe thunderstorm in your area I just got. So it's enough to garner an actual alert. I was watching an Oh Bother VOD, and then Oh Bother decided to stream. Lucky day. I got to get back on the horse and keep streaming on my normal schedule, because the stream doesn't exactly grow, right? But I have a lot of stuff to do. I have a lot of stuff that I really want to get done. Whole house battery backup that can drive to a level 3 charge to top up. Yeah, that would be nice. Solar and a backup battery. Malzum does that kind of stuff on our Discord. I would love it. Twitch has been unstable. Yeah, some channels, it's because of their internet, but sometimes it's because of your internet. Anyway, the Bluetooth stuff. We had the privilege of faking out us being a Bluetooth modem that connected to something. Taught me a whole lot about how those packets work. It was fascinating. And we actually got to sit on that modem, because I had to buy the modem in order to fake being it. We bought the modem and we listened in on what all the packets were jumping around. And we found like my insulin pump, and we found the glucometer and stuff like that. And there were other devices in there. So there's a lot of traffic in this immediate area. Because I'm wearing 2 Bluetooth low energy devices that are coordinated by my phone. The computer's looking around at what's going on. The mouse is active on this machine. There's 2 other computers sitting behind me that are also on Bluetooth low energy. And then there's countless other things that might be Bluetooth low energy that I don't know about. Like, does the oscilloscope have Bluetooth low energy? It's basically an Android tablet. It is an Android tablet. It is a 7-inch Android tablet with a bunch of buttons and a custom OS. I was talking about just doing like a Ford Lightning. Listen, don't get me started. I've been on both my stream projects channel and in the automotive channel in my Discord. Discord is not a healthy thing for me. I have a gremlin on my back, and the gremlin on my back is the Porsche 944 project. I'm so beat up about selling that thing. I sold it for $2,000 back in 2011, 2012, 2010. Oh my God, it's been half a century, brother. You could let it go. Just let it go. Let me go, Dad. I'm dead. It wasn't your fault. I had a burgundy Porsche 944, and I loved it. I was doing an engine swap in the days way before electricity. Cool thing about the Porsche 944 is it's actually just an Audi. But what they do is they split the engine and the transaxle up so that it's on either side of the people sitting in the middle. That gives it a 50-50 weight ratio and really affects sort of the handling and the feel of the car. It also looks like an alien spaceship. It looks like an alien razor blade or like an electric razor. It's awesome. I love it. And it's just like this little two-seater pod that go fast and turn good. Everything I want out of a car. I wasn't even 10 when you sold it. I'm going to start getting gray hairs soon. And I was living in Northern Virginia at the time, doing that bomb reverse engineering job, which was hot shit because we had been getting our asses kicked in Iraq and Afghanistan and et cetera. And so, yeah, that's what I went into after college. 9/11 essentially directed my entire career. So anyway, I had that project car and I pulled the engine out of it. The cool thing about the 944 with the transaxle is that if you replace that terrible engine with something that weighs similarly, you move that weight balance forward a little bit, which I guess you could consider that good for handling, I suppose. But you also give it all the power that it should have gotten. It's starting to rain. I might have to close the door, close the window. You see, you're not really supposed to put all of your 3D printing filament directly below the only window to the shop where rain gets in sometimes. I print in PETG though, and I've never had moisture problems. Although I do have a dryer. That's a dryer sitting right there. So I invested in a dryer that I could automatically, pop those things in case they get rained on, which happens right now maybe. But anyway, so the 944, absolutely love it. Electric cars became a huge thing in the past decade, right? Electric cars are everywhere now, right? I would love to do what Superfast Matt did with the old Jaguar that he has. Instead, I would be doing it to a 944. And it turns out, because you can put the Tesla 300 horsepower smaller power pack, you could just put that where the transaxle goes, fill the remaining engine space with batteries, and you've still got a 50-50 weight ratio. You may have to do like a front and a back battery pack or get clever. I would have to get clever. I would get clever with it and try to stuff battery packs like in the back seats or whatever. Love PETG. I never have issues with it. Yeah, it's really hands-off, isn't it? The times that I've ever had problems is because something physical broke on the printer, and my solution was to turn the heat up. It's always turning the heat up. It's like, this print is not quite what I want. And you're like, just turn the heat up. Oh, okay. It just fixes everything. So, but yeah, I'm going to pop that window closed. Let me pop the window closed back there, so as not to get water in the shop. They're also doing the yard work around the neighborhood right now. Oh, the spider's back. Damn it. There's a spider that loves to hang out under these stairs over here. All right, I'll just keep a little bit of moisture out. It's only starting to storm, which means people can open up their storm trackers and probably predict where I am. Yeah, aging wheels as well as Superfast Matt with the big Jaguar. But I mean, I would love to do, it's like a perfect project, and it's been done before. Short Lurker found a video of somebody that did it. I have to find a red 944 though. I would love to. I looked on Bring a Trailer. They're like $4,000 or $5,000. I'm not totally sure where those auctions usually. He's such a lovey tummy. Yeah, Aging Wheels. I do actually subscribe to them. What was I gonna say? Yeah, 944, $4,000-ish, and you can get, from what I understand, at least at the time, maybe that's not the case anymore, but Aegis dumped their entire fleet of electric cars onto the market. And so a dumpy Tesla Model S, and I think it might even be dual motor, which is a whole other host of problems, were around that price as well. So it would be like, you know, $8,000 to $10,000, and I could finally have the 944, and it would be electric. And because I'm not putting a big nasty engine in there, I am just matching the power. I don't know what the original had. I think it had like 200 or something. Be putting 300 horsepower in it. But I would finally, you know, move over to an electric car. I could still do my grocery runs with that, you know, my daily drive functions, because it is a hatch after all. And I'd have a cool, weird car. Man, it's just so tempting. I don't have the money though, which is the main money, and the big one is space. The big one is space. If one of the roommates retires and I get that garage bay back, that would be neat to be able to have that project. But I don't think anybody here would stomach me with another project car. But I could always get all the stuff together to do the cell phone streams. I need to buy a welder too. That's the problem. Maybe some welding company wants to get in on the next hot project car. I guess Superfast Matt just uses a GoPro, doesn't he? I don't know what I would do. There was also, who was that? There was a streamer, like a tech streamer that did cars, and he had like a rolly cart with his computer and everything on it. Now, bruise number 2 also itches. I've had these bruises for a while now. These were overconfident, recently graduated nurses that said, "I'll do it, I got this." So now I've got 2 weeks of bruises. What did we do with this thing? We're gonna be doing a little bit of research on this, and we're gonna try to put together sort of a more permanent laser setup for it, because this thing has a hole through the middle, and the hole through the middle is for a laser that helps you align everything. GeoHots. What is that? I don't know what that is. Is that like a geoduck? What old Jaguar did Superfast Matt have? He still has it. I think it's mentioned we have a 69 E-Type Jaguar. It's supposed to do an electric conversion on it for $1 million. Oh my God. I don't know what the year. His is like a 1950 something. Really? GeoHots is a streamer who pivoted from hacking to AI to self-driving cars. I don't know what drives other channels to grow larger. I've been kind of doing my own thing here, and my projects have kind of been smeared out over way too much time, I think is maybe what's happening a little bit here, because I do provocative titles, I do good video, I do good audio in relation to all of my peers, but I just don't have the growth. Maybe it's the time slot that I'm doing, because I kind of claw at the last sort of traces of a life that I have in order to take care of my dog and do all that stuff. So I stream during the day during working hours, and that might not help me. Create an open source comma platform. What is that? I had an intern doctor a few years ago try to take blood and snap the needle in my arm. Woo! Ouchies. Blood started pulsing out. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the old nurse, that's what happened. The older nurse would take over and just everything would go just fine. Yeah, I do kind of an EU-friendly stream. The reason is because I would put on Rabaz and waste my entire day. So this is the afternoon for my Northeast self, and it gets me working. I actually try to do work on this stream instead of, yeah. It's been like a month since I last did my makeup, and I have a big presentation in 45 minutes. Oh my God, Rendog, good luck. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to. What's your problem? I'm supposed to say break a leg. Like, go kill it. I'm not. You made me curse you. No, it's gonna go great. You're gonna do great. Without fail. There's no other option. Making me say stuff. Man. Yeah, so the EU-friendly stream, I gotta see, like, maybe I need to just, like, trawl I need to go to some like popular EE sites that you EU people sort of kick around on and see what's popular. See what kind of stuff you guys get up to and maybe copy it. An American tries to blank. You know, that kind of crap. We're going to have to rebuild the control system for this because this previously had some kind of Arduino on it. And we actually found a candidate while sifting through all the junk bins because I don't know what this thing was supposed to do. What was I thinking for this? Is that a thing? I don't remember putting it together. So maybe we could just wire it up to this crap and we can get this thing running. It just basically needs to do the motor controller, and that motor controller just controls the wibbling frequencies that are coming out of all these ultrasonic things. It's kind of a, you know, there's not much to what this thing does. How many times has this flipped around? I wonder if that's still connected all right. I guess it is. We're going to use a lot of hot glue. Donner, like a kebab? Don't lump me in with the EU, I'm Scottish. We're our own, I can't even, no, nobody does, especially not me. We are our own category. In private, I can do all of the silly accents in a silly way, and it's always perfect. But when I stream, my ability to do any other accent other than my own is just gone. Unless I think most of it is that I think about it. When I don't think about it, I usually do a lot better, especially in life. Like in general, and this is especially true. This is if you've ever seen me play a racing game, and I know it's few and far between the people who've seen me actually game on stream, but we play a lot of driving games, and a lot of the time, when it comes down to it, if I want to perform when I'm racing a car, I need to stop thinking. And the way that I do that is by singing. In high school, and I've been a prolific singer. I've been in select singing groups as a little kid. And just getting into that zone where I'm just following a tune frees my brain to work on instinct or something, and I end up placing higher. So when I get into a racing game, if Groovy Something and Short Lurker are there, I'm going to be third place behind those two. And typically it's Short Lurker is way out in front. Groovy Something is accessible only if I turn off my brain and I am mean to him. So I have to actually like run his ass off the track in order to do well. And then if there's some other kind of upset, I have a chance of placing. A poster symposium, I have to give the same presentation like 25 times over the course of 2 hours. Oh, so it's going to be like completely automatic as you go through. It's just the people in the morning will get coffee brain and not know what the heck was that presentation, and then 4 hours later you'll have it perfect. The singing technique is really weird. If I sing "Kiss for the Rose on the Grave," which I know the lyrics to, and I can even do the harmony parts of, then it just boof, straight down, straight, hit all my apexes, etc., etc. It's supremely annoying for everybody else, which is probably why it's so effective for me, is they start getting annoyed and messing up, and then I'm just completely on autopilot. But it's like demonstrable. It's crazy. I forgot about this mix. This is the Big John mix from like 3 years ago. Ooh, there was a thunderclap. We should go to this camera just in case there's a big bright flash from that. No, you're not. I'm not just gonna bust out and start singing "Kiss from a Rose" off key with other music in the background. You can't hear it because you're on YouTube. In Twitch we have, yeah, it's a buff for me and a debuff for them. They all take psychic damage while I'm I've got some kind of a concentration multiplier. This is a cool project. This is an old Rabaz raid when we put this together. I wanted to build one of those speakers that uses all this kind of stuff. The flash comes before the thunder. Yes, I know. We're watching because there is a thunderstorm overhead, not because I heard the thunder and then thought we would see a flash. I'm not an idiot. Like, come on. If I put these in array flat, then they become a, what is, I guess, a laser speaker, where if you have all of these ultrasonic producing elements, they start to interfere with one another as the audio wave spreads. So you get the audio wave spreading out and intersecting with itself. And what that'll do is that makes it so that you can actually hear audio frequency waves within sort of the all of those spreading waves that are coming out at you. So you have this like wave front that's interfering with itself in such a way that it creates a narrow band of audible audio. And you can really, what I really wanted to do is like mess somebody up with it. I wanted to get one of those cone listening devices and hook it up to one of the laser speakers and put a little delay between the two. So you could point it at somebody and they would hear their own voice back, and it just shuts the brain down, right? So you could, somebody like on a megaphone giving a speech, you could just point this at them and they would be like, like very publicly stumble over their own words because they're hearing their own voice back. Oh, that would have been such a great little thing. I looked it up and I found somebody else had done the project, because remember, every project has already been done. So somebody else had already done the project, and they had the project on their website, nice and laid out. And I was like, okay, this will be nice and easy. I can just, copy what this person did and make it a little better. 3D print something, that'll be great. And then below it was a big paragraph ranting about Barack Obama. And I'm just like, oh. So I had to jump from that one. Oh yeah, the microscope is still kaput. What's going on with that? Let's check. Check my microscope. HD Pro webcam C920 is grayed out, and the configure video doesn't come up. So if I deactivate it and then I activate it, did I bump the cable? This always messes up this computer because this webcam, this microscope webcam shares an identity with the other C920 or whatever. SR04s? What's that? Is that the part number of these? I ordered them in bulk. I'm going to unplug and plug back in, and then I think what I'm going to do is, because we're repairing this thing, I need to put hot glue around the connector. Actually, the last time we did hot glue around the connector, it kind of messed up, so maybe we won't do that. Maybe we'll hold off on that. Maybe, just maybe. Where did I'm looking for it, I'm not finding it. Yeah, there was an eBay auction that had these pairs, but I requested just the transmitters and not the receivers. So these should all be the same. Some of these look like they're missing their element. Yeah, what is that all about? It's just one of them. One of them is like missing the emitter on it. Huh. They're all wired up in parallel though. Parallel. What happened to the hot glue gun? I have a battery operated hot glue gun. Way down here? No. Buried under all this crap? Maybe. Oh, it's on the wall. Okay, I'll go get it. It's on the wall with all the other stuff. This. And this, the wall is disgusting. Disgusting! Hot glue. Oh, I should probably power it down in the beginning part of stream. It doesn't have a switch on it. The part I think I'd trip up the most on if I would do a 944 conversion for electric is unifying all the systems. I'd probably want to like do it myself. And then it's so much easier if you just buy all the stuff that you put together to make it work, right? Like the whatever computer runs all the motors and stuff. I should probably just write it off as an expense, because that's where my 944 project died 10 years ago, is working on the electronics. I decided to use a more modern Chevy computer, and so the wiring was totally different, and I had to repin stuff and rewire stuff in order to get the old Chevy computer to work with the motor, and it spiraled from there. I just stopped working on it. I had binders that were filled with all of the pinout information that I had to convert from one to the other, and then you got to check over all your work and make sure you're not messing with it. What can you levitate? Like styrofoam beads and little tiny drops of water, which if we get this thing working today, I kind of want to button the project up a little bit more just so that it can sit on a shelf. And then we can try to levitate little bits of styrofoam, stuff like that. We can use one of those barrel plugs on it. We can put a little barrel plug on the back of this thing. It's possible that there's an adjustment too, so we might have to add a potentiometer to the front. But I think we can stuff it all in. I think we can really kind of like cram it all into the open spaces. And I had another one of these. I don't know what happened to it, but the big orange disc that goes on the top and the bottom. I don't know if it needs a fan because it does get kind of warm, but we can figure it out as we go. I don't know if we did tissue paper. It really was like the weight of even like a normal styrofoam bead was too much for it. It was tiny little drops of water is what we got to levitate on it. I think I had a thumbnail or a clip that's the little drops of water. Krog subbed for 2 months. Oh, and before, I did thank Teepin Dragon for 14. Krog, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate it. I hope I'm not saying something nasty in another language. Sometimes you guys have these like Danish sounding names and I can't I don't know the language, so I don't know if I'm saying something horrible. Thank you for 2 months. It's a name I made for Morrowind. Okay. Were you playing as an orc? That sounds like an orc name. Beef Rollkrug. What are you doing in this district? It was. Yeah, of course. Actually, that's the lyrics to this song. Did you just hear that? He went, Beef Rollkrug. Yeah, see, it's saying your name. It's singing your name. Funny how that is. And falsetto. Falsetto. You did not say the Danish mega slur. Well, now I know the existence of a Danish mega slur. Oh, no. I feel called out. Oh, there's the head injury cam. I haven't done much cleanup since we streamed the cleanup, and so I feel like I need to stream the cleanup again in order to get more cleanup done, because there's going to be people here, which I don't like. I don't like other people visiting my shop. I could have 1,500 viewers here and be totally comfortable with it, but if I have a human being in the shop, I am infinitely cringed out of my existence. It's too much mess around here, and I control what you guys see very tightly, so... Degenerate Dingleberry will spank me with a giant salmon covered with thumbtacks. Call me a good-for-nothing, arrogant, swamp-ass, acne-scarred, insignificant schoolboy bitch. How you doing today? Nice stream, bro. Thank you. Good to be here. How does he get through these comments perfectly? It's called being dumb. That's a BTS name if I've ever heard one. There's more cursed names on Twitch for sure. But we'll see what the state of cursed Twitch names are when we get to Burn the Subs again. We do have a lot of work on Burn the Subs to do still. Wiring is chief among them. Implementing the screen should be pretty easy. The LED display, the aisle display, I think I could just steal from somewhere. I can just look up Python projects that use these screens and see if I can find a good one that I'll just implement as like another thread on the Python. Then we need to put MQTT capability into this and get rid of the Twitch robot stuff. I need to find a profanity filter for Node-RED. I think I found one already and I just haven't installed the node yet. Then I need to wire it all up physically, and we need to retune Clipper. Well, we need to make Clipper in the first place, or we use the new GRBL like HD or whatever. Yeah, profanity filter only allowing profanity through. No, because there's some truly cursed things out there, and I just don't want to engage with them. So I'd rather have Node-RED go yoink and just get rid of stuff that's particularly bad. Because Twitch, part of this project is making fun of, my shoulder just suddenly decided to flinch, and that caused me pain. Welcome to your adult life. Anyway, the Twitch. It's funny because Twitch technically says your screen name cannot be profane. But profanity exists in such a nebulous state that everything that has been exploitable as a profane Twitch name is out there. And so our project highlights that. The problem is there is some truly heinous shit out there that's not funny. And so I want that stuff to be quietly yoinked away from the pipeline, so we don't even have to interact with it on any level. And that's the level of profanity filtering I want. I don't want a Gestapo. I want it just be like, wow, that's heinous. No. So, in the pursuit of comedy. Yeah, and also Twitch, the Twitch rules, like, Twitch is reactive, so a screen name can be created that is horrible, and in defiance of the rules, that can get a gift sub to my channel before it gets wiped. So the what sphere? The Bucosphere? No, this is on Thingiverse. And I just 3D printed it like 1 million years ago. This is an early stream project that's really, really cool. It has cool results. I did want to make like one of those laser speakers with all these drivers at some point, but I kind of want to staple this thing back together and build in some conveniences so that it just like as a desktop plugin, so I can have it doing cool stuff on camera at the beginning of select streams. Because then it'll make a Twitch, because we don't do thumbnails on Twitch, so if I can get this on camera at the right time, it'll make a really cool thumbnail for people. What the heck is the booze? Hold on, I'm gonna look up whatever this. Because Vine Sauce Joey says boogalated as like one of his isms, and I tried figuring out what the hell that meant. It was a boomer moment for me, but it's just something he made up. Oh yeah, that's right. So I've got uBlock Origin running on this machine. It just doesn't quite get to everything. It probably was disabled in the settings again. I'm gonna guess that. Let's check. Chrome. Extensions. It has been turned off. No, it's on. It's still on. We had to go into a couple like deep Chrome settings in order to enable running horrible extensions that it doesn't like. Oh, this is the thing they on what do you call it? Venture Brothers, they made fun of this thing. They had an episode that was about something like this. So this is stupid. This is stupid. They have a bunch of engineer-looking guys looking at this thing, but they're in like the noisiest setup possible in like a tent. It's just like a carved piece of aluminum. And they're like, it's matter that we've never seen before. Incredible alien object that we keep measuring the temperature of for some reason. Jeez, stupid. We were looking for radio noise coming out of it, and we found out that it was speaking both cellular and Bluetooth. My God. I took a video of it on my phone, and I found out that it was running cellular and Bluetooth. Incredible. This video from a modern cell phone, where RF equipment that's being videoed by a modern cell phone is detecting both Bluetooth and cellular activity. It has to be from the sphere. Can you do that with your sphere? The Soviets did that with a sphere. in the 1950s. When was Sputnik? Wasn't it was 60? I don't remember the year. It was basically out there in order to reflect RF. Makes me think about what happens if you have a perfect one-way mirror sphere. Shine a light in it. Would that light always be there and just have an orb of light? Okay, so a perfect mirror is also chasing a dragon, because you're always going to get losses through the mirror, whether or not it's the perfectest mirror ever created. There will be losses. So the attempt at what you're thinking about is the invention of a laser. That's how a laser works. That's how laser do. Laser do by having two parallel mirrors that are very, very parallel, and they are freaking annoying to get in alignment. Once they're in alignment, any photons you have running about in the middle will bounce back and forth. The ones that are in alignment enough will bounce back and forth enough that they will team up with their fellow photons and create more light. And that light comes out extremely coherent because all of the cancellations sort of knock out any sort of misaligned stuff. And so you get very coherent light that's sort of, all the waves are helping out each other. They're all in sort of lockstep with each other. That's what's so cool about lasers. The divergence of the beam is just a result of the optics. It's really the coherence of the frequency of light that you get that's super, super awesome. Silyoroso, subbing for 93 months. Oh, heck yeah. I spent a few coins here. Uh-oh, what are we going to be looking at? I'm not going to instantly open it up over there. I'm going to first preview. Microtransactions. Rabaz is playing gotcha games today, which is hilarious. And so this is essentially Rabaz today with all these gotcha games, trying to get him addicted to pressing the A button. Some people cannot get over the concept of a cool-looking sphere. It's a cool-looking sphere, sure. Oh, bother stream at work today? What are you talking about? Today's Thursday. Unless everybody I live around is mistaken. I haven't streamed on Thursday lately, but oh, my eyes! Silly Russell gifting a sub to Leb TV Live. This needs to be moved. That, where's my... First of all... Oh, I see. Wait. That's overlay. There's Streamlabs. Okay. Let's grab that, and let's move you. Dune. There you go. That should probably put it right in the middle there. It's Wednesday. I'm hovering over the calendar, and I see that it is Thursday. All right, those should come in the blank space there, so they'll have plenty of room to breathe. Yeah, the Boogosphere is just hilariously... Listen, the conspiracy theorists the theories are getting worse. They're getting worse at their job. There's so many things that they could do to make those better. And I think the reason the conspiracy theories are getting worse is because you can make money on TikTok making things that kind of fool people, right? I saw a thing the other day where they clearly just hit a motor and something, but they made it, this is a perpetual motion machine. All they did was get really good at gluing stuff together without a seam. So I think those people would be working towards conspiracy theories if they weren't doing the other thing and just simply straight up making money on TikTok, right? You just make money on TikTok, fooling people. So, without any pretense of it being a conspiracy. Took a half a day and I'm able to take the stream. Wow, let's say, don't let me keep you guys from work. I can't live with myself if that's what... Bother, I quit my life to watch your stream today. No, it's good to have you here. This is an old project. Some of the older names like Foldster and Silly Russell might recognize this thing. This is the Levitation project. It's a very cool project, very visual. It cost me a little bit of money. These things were not cheap back in the day. They're probably still not cheap. And it's a little fiddly to get working. We got it working on a breadboard. I would like to actually make the circuit. So there's going to be a lot of circuit stuff today. Yeah, I'm going to levitate Willow. I'm actually wondering if I actually turn this on, if she's going to start acting weird. I do recognize it. I did a little bit of work to try to put stuff in it. And I don't know where the other one of these things is. I don't think I threw it out. I'm going to go look for it over by the bookshelf. I'm going to go look for that plate, because I think I was going to use this fan, this little circular fan. This guy. I was going to use that in here and have a little cooling fan, and then have the motor driver able to dissipate all the heat that it generates when it works. I have to find like a plug for it. But there was part of it just hanging out in this thing. I don't see anything orange. That's the thing. In the shelf, what's this back here? That's a headlight. Got a whole ass headlight. Let's see, back, like way back there. Nope, don't see nothing. It's more vacuum stuff that I need to throw out. We put a lot of effort into trying to vacuum out smoke from Burn the Subs. But if you focus the laser right, you don't need it. I think I may have thrown out the other plate that I printed. Yeah, I don't see it. We could always use the rotary table to cut something out. Put it on a big block of wood. Actually, that would be good if it had like a fancy base. If I made all this structure out of something else. Like, keep the 3D printed thing, but put wood as the disc wall. I guess you'd core it out into a bowl or something like that. Put wood on the disc wall, and then use some kind of a fancy looking strut to put the other thing up here. Floating with ultrasound. It's actually, so you exist in a sort of a pressure relief area. And that's why I was wondering what it would look like on a Schlieren viewer, because these are creating little tiny micro pressure waves, and those pressure waves are canceling each other out in this big interference pattern in between the two emitters. So you've got this big interference pattern, and you've got a little area where the waves are sort of canceling each other out. That's what the lasers are there to help you find. And you find it, and then it just sort of pushes the bubble of water, in the middle. It's pretty neat. Neat, neat, neat. Neato gazebo. How much energy does this thing use, though? If it's heating up a motor controller, I might actually need this thing that we found yesterday. The big 5-volt regulator, just so we have multiple amps of power. I'm not sure how much they draw. We'll look it up. We're going to look up the project and sort of refresh ourselves with all the information on it before we rebuild it. Before I'm blind to the warnings around me. I can't believe you rebuilt this project. It's too unsafe. You don't know what powers you're dealing with. I forget what it sounded like either. I don't remember what it sounded like when it was operating. I think it was light enough not to get on the microphone, though. Really what I'm doing right now is killing time until my insulin pump runs out of insulin. How long do we have? 1 unit. I really have 1 day and 17 hours left on my glucose sensor. Is that what that is? Yeah, that's the transmitter time. But I have 1 unit left. I'm just going to administer the unit. Not 2 units, 1 unit. Oh my god, it's doing it by 0.5. Give me a keypad. 1, go. Oh wait, cancel. No, I want you to actually do just 1 unit. A bolus of 1 singular unit. Ah, it can't do it. So you're lying to me. I have less than a unit. 0.9 of a unit. All right, we're jettisoning that unit is dead to me. Deactivate the pod. There's probably a little bit more than that in there, because there's like a little wiggle room for when it says 0 units. But I'm deactivating the pod. This is gonna, let me just mute audio for just a second. All the wonders of a shirtless oh bother await you. You guys aren't allowed to see me without a shirt on. All right, let's get the old pump out. Yeah, there's the old pump. did me well for a limited amount of time, but now it is out of insulin and this whole thing becomes garbage. Circuit board, batteries, buzzers, mechanisms, all of it just trash. Insert Wilhelm scream. I don't know. My audio is going to sound really weird from here. You guys are used to listening to me from here. You're now over there. Okay, so now I need to give this thing... Well, first I need to go into... deactivating pod, next finish, activate pod. It says fill pod and gives me all these instructions I don't need. And then I stab this thing. It's hard to stab it in the right spot. You want to get to the middle of that little sphere of rubber that they put in there as a little fill thing. And if you stab on the sides, you're like scraping plastic. It feels weird. But it's always tough to align. It's a very, very tiny circle of a target. So that beeped at me, so I click next on the cell phone. And then now this thing is in Bluetooth discovery mode. So once this finds it, the cell phone finds it with its Bluetooth low energy, this will start clicking. There it goes, it started clicking. So now I can apply the new pump to my arm, wherever I so may please. Technically, you're not supposed to do this right now, but I do it while it's clicking here for the reservoir. Got to make sure to keep these two kind of close to each other because it is Bluetooth low energy. Your body can block its signal. So up high on my arm, let's go a little higher than that. Up high on my arm, we'll go right here. That's going to hurt. That's actually the middle of my arm. It didn't go as high as I thought I did. Well, once this thing is down, it's down. That adhesive will not relent. It won't stick again if you, yeah. You guys get my meaning. See if we can get a little bit of light up high here. And I can get real close to the camera with this. So, we are looking very specifically in here. It's hard to see, though, because I guess a little bit of insulin got on the window. Okay, so when I click next, it says attach pod. I click next, and now it's warning me. It says, hey, I want to stab your ass. So we're looking inside of this window right here for the speed of when this thing sticks you. Okay, there we go. Here it goes. 2, 3, on 5, 4, 5. Bam. Nope. There. Right there. That was it. So that was a syringe going under the skin, and then with a blue tube around it, and then it pulled back the syringe. All in one motion. It's just one motion. There's only one motor in the whole thing. And it's a memory wire motor. And that mechanism looks like this. So there is you can imagine there would be a metal loop coming out and around and going into this plastic thing, and it has this little red tray. Here, hold on. I can partially reset. I should probably get a new one of these, but this is just the pump we took the cover off of. Hold on. I just need to lift this thing up. There we go. So all that stuff is waiting over here under spring tension, right? This arm is a huge spring. Look at that spring. That is a big spring. There's a lot of energy in that. That arm is out and around over here. It's 180 degrees from where it is right now. It is held... Ugh, this thing gets tough to... Ow. It's held all the way over here. And so when it goes through its motion, it will press that arm out and back. So that stabs me. It goes whoop, stabs me, and then it pulls this back and holds it back. So then you have a metal syringe between here and here that goes around to the reservoir, but a plastic tube under the skin at the tip. That is initiated by this little thing right here, this little tab right here. This thing moves out of the way, and it releases all that stuff. and it gets released by a flat spot on this barrel, and this barrel rotates. That's all it does. It rotates in one direction, and it advances a threaded brass rod that is captured by a spring. So when you put insulin in here, it'll move the plunger backwards so that the brass barrel is in the rod, and the barrel can unscrew it to press the plunger back in the other direction. Everything about this is a one-way street. It's incredible. What is that? Are you guys pareidoiling? Yeah, it's a little isopod. But yeah, so that's how this thing works. Everything is a one-way mechanism. You put insulin into it, you fill that plunger, the barrel starts moving, the spring captures the brass part, which then gets unwound by the motion of the barrel. The unwinding motion presses the plunger forward, but first it'll meet a flat spot on the barrel, which releases this sprung mechanism to put the syringe under the skin, and then retract the metal part of the syringe, leaving only the plastic cannula tube. So once that's retracted, everything is in sort of a fixed position. Only this part moves, and it advances a plunger. And the reason that it moves is because this piece right here, this little metal piece, which has two little pawls on it, PAWLs, this moves back and forth. And it moves back and forth with the use of a memory wire. This is a memory wire. It's designed to push the gear forward only. And when it pushes one gear forward, it locks the other toe. So it can't move backwards at all. And when it does its motion, it will complete a circuit with these guys up here telling the microcontroller that stuff is happening properly. There's all kinds of little checks and balances on this thing too. Like there are contacts on the front of the wheel here to show its movement. Incredible and probably expensive. Well, they say with insurance, these can be as little as $35 a pod. But they are a lot more expensive than that because medical pricing is completely fucking out of control. This is like $30 worth of technology. And it is, I mean, these things are great because basically I don't have to worry about like a long cannula tube. It's basically my pump is automated and it's stuck on my body. And it means that I don't have to worry about having like, oops, wait, no, I just messed up my face focus. There you go. I don't have to have like a pager around. T-Slim is working on a version of the pod that has a detachable, oh yeah, you guys aren't supposed to see me right now. That has a detachable pump thing. It has a pump piece to it that you basically put the pump thing on your body and then you clip the pod to it. How long does the pod last? 3 days is the maximum. I definitely don't get it out to the maximum. I will bolus for big meals so that it's not totally draining the pod at all times. Because the pod is nice because I don't have to think about it, and it'll correct any hyperglycemic things. I'm trying to find my shirt arm. I'm sorry, I sound funny right now because the mic is clipped to the to this over here. I get like a day in, like 3/4, well, maybe 2 days if I'm really careful, out of the pod. The thing about it though is you need to change it out because your body rejects any sort of foreign influence. It'll start fighting it, and it's more chances for infection at the site. So you rotate sites. Also, insulin is a growth hormone, and so it's a mighty potent growth hormone that a lot of sports people really abuse. But it if you inject in the same spot, you can get it'll feel like leathery in that spot because it's the growth hormone is influencing growth in the area. So, hold on. All right, there we go. Yeah, so you get weird spots, weird growth spots if you don't rotate sites. So I have been doing way too many arms. I've been going from arm to arm for a little too long. I need to do more body locations, but when you do body locations, I tend to like bruise where the pump is because I spend time with my dog on the floor rolling around And so I'll end up with my whole body crushing this sort of isopod shape into the side of like my hips or something like that. So this can bruise where it's been put. I need to find some more creative spots for pumps. Like I don't want it to be on like my leg where I have a pocket. So if I put my hand in the pocket, I hit the pump. I don't want that. That's awkward. I don't know if I can do them like around my butt. My big butt. Maybe. Severe thunderstorm warning. I guess we got a couple of them going. All right, let's get started. Fade out the music. Fade the music out in a sort of a nice sweeping. I'm actually, that could have been a little better. That was a bit quick. How's everybody doing today? So it's Thursday. It's Thursday. We did a little bit of cleanup oh my God. That was at the same moment and then it started it up again. So did it undo it might have undone the start soon. Yeah, it did. I gotta press it again. You hit it at the same moment. Yeah, so welcome to Thursday. We did a little bit of cleanup last time. This camera I could probably hold on, put the procedure back on. It'll put all the settings back into the camera that I had before. There we go. How's it going? So yeah, we did clean up on Tuesday. I need to come back in and do more cleanup. I don't know if we're going to have Friday might be a little bit more of a loosey-goosey kind of stream. We might just do more cleanup because, I got family coming and I just wanted to pare down a little bit of the project stuff. I don't really want to have a big pile of crap sitting on this table. I want to keep that table moderately clear just because it, I don't know, reflects my own mental state sometimes. So there's only a couple more of those project bins to go through to actually neaten up that whole project, to get the cleanup project done. I mean, look at how I left things. It's terrible. We also have a winch to play with whenever I get all this stuff organized and cleaned up. And I have this winch that's sitting over there. We need to make I probably want to make a little control box for it that isn't the thing that came with the winch. Just because I don't know, I guess my industrial buttons are better than their industrial buttons. But I want to install that in the garage, so that probably needs a substrate. That's looking way better than it did last stream. It is better than it was, but there's also a couple satellite messes that need to kind of be managed along with it. It's been spilling out all over the shop, and I need to get certain areas clean so that I can kind of get to the stuff that I've been neglecting. Today was a big day because all the recycling went out. I had 2 weeks of recycling that kind of built up. There's a lot of plastic bottles from all the seltzer and stuff. So getting that away makes me feel a little bit better about life. And I'll continue to roll around the shop and organize things so that when we get back to projects, we can actually concentrate on them and not have mess all around. But I do need to actually moon mess. Satellite implies it was artificial. There you go. It's there. That's no moon. Yeah, so this project is one that is blowed up and it kind of got crushed in all the shuffle of things around the shop. This is an ultrasonic levitator. It uses a simple motor controller. This would be a L298N. And in our pursuit of actually cleaning up around the shop, we've run into a lot of other stuff that I can take advantage of and maybe rebuild this thing a little bit. So I want to look into that today. Basically, the very easy part about it is just going to be to hot glue all the 3D prints back together, and hopefully the hot glue doesn't totally melt the 3D print, so that this thing is a stand once again, an enemy stand, and then we can put some of the electronics in it too. I did have another one of these plates. I think I threw it out. This plate had been sitting over at the shelves, and this thing was behind me on those shelves. So whatever could have happened to the other circular plate, it's probably deep within the shop in such a way as that I'll never find it again. It was probably on the floor or under a bunch of bins on the thing next to me. I'll never find it again, and I don't have this orange filament anymore. It was a wonderful contrast, the blue-orange contrast of the early 2000s. It was a good contrast for the base plates, but oh well. Nowadays, I'd want to do something like make it out of wood, make it look real fancy, and use a more interesting 3D material. Maybe put screw holes around the perimeter, and then have some kind of like a fancy plexiglass post or just, you know, plexiglass rod maybe. Nah, maybe not that. Oh yeah, that's right. The microscope never came back, did it? If I unplug it and plug it back in, it means everything's going to be all crazy. Well, I'm going to put that off until we actually get to some soldering. We need to figure out what that project was. I don't know what it was, where I got it from. I think the top and the bottom were available on Thingiverse. Let's put that to the test. Oh yeah, that's right, we do. That does work, that works, everything else works. Cool. I actually set up for stream properly today. Praise me! Okay, so Thingiverse. Let's try that. Oh, by the way, so there's big thunderstorms rolling through here. I don't know if they're over or not, or if I think they come back at like later in the afternoon, which means that PECO, the energy company around here, Pennsylvania Eastern Company, I don't know what the acronym is, PECO, around here, they're going to be switching around the grid. So whether or not I have thunderstorms locally, I might actually lose power. If I do, stream stops. That's it. It's a tantamount to a rage quit. Ultrasonic levitate. Bonk. Oh, they made a tighter one. I want to download it. I want to look at the project. Jeez. Ultrasonic levitator. I wonder if that works better. Are they using they're just using the regular units? Whoa, why all the repeats? What's going on there? Or are they all in the base or something? What's going on there? Huh, that's crazy. Yeah, ours is more like this one, only these are tunable. The big hemisphere of what is that for? Acoustic tractor beam. That one looks cooler. Yeah, it looks like everybody has these adjustable, and we just kind of like full send on the other design. Oh my god, the ads on the side. I'm not. Why is. Okay, so ad block is supposedly on, but it's not getting the really annoying, like, visual advertisements. I think I just need to throw Firefox on this machine or go Linux with it. That's a fairly involved driver circuit, I think. The original one, I don't know what happened to. Where did we get the actual project from? This one, no. He's brave, their shield is great. Isn't that just a Chromium one? Aren't they all Chromium except for Firefox? I already have Firefox on the other machine, so I've already kind of made the jump. I just haven't updated this one. Is this a remix from it? Doesn't look like it. Chrome, but it has a built-in ad block that actually works. I mean, uBlock Origin is actually really good. The Feather Turbine. What? So this is essentially the same thing. So I guess the electronics in this one would also apply. It's instructable. Maybe that's where we got it. It's probably an instructable. Is instructables completely rife with ads? I remember this now. Oh, it's a Simone? Upna Lab. Yeah, see, they had, I don't know if maybe our broken driver is the reason why we didn't get such good control of everything. That's Physics Girl? I don't follow the channels, so I don't know them. Yeah, this is the one. This is nice and easy. So we need 3 buttons. We need a DC barrel. We need a switch. And then we've got the nano that I've neglected. I don't know, I haven't done anything with this nano. We can probably put it onto its own PCB because I don't know what I've wired up here. Or we could try to get this one running, I guess. This might actually be wired up for this project. Maybe that's why we found it with it. Let's get the microscope up and running so that we can check over our electronics and see if we can actually build this thing. Oh, and I just threw out the number display that we found yesterday with the buttons on it. That would have worked really well in this project. Oh my god. I can't believe that. That is the most obnoxious thing in the world. The exact thing that I could have used for this project, which would be a numerical, well, the numerical display is debatable, but the buttons and the indicators from that power supply thing that we found and we threw out yesterday. Oh my God. Maybe I threw it and it's in a weird spot. Hold on. Let's just check to see. It's not in a weird spot. I don't see it over here. Tell me you didn't land in the garbage and you're just near it. You're just near it. You're just near the garbage. You're not in the You're right here. No. It's not here. I took that garbage out. There's nothing. Unless I put it in this bin over here that is slated for garbage, but not garbage. Ah, there it is. Oh no, this is the different one. This is the infrared one that I really don't need. I don't need no infrared emitters. What else is over here? Here's a barrel plug in case we need that. Maybe I should keep that board. No, now I'm doing it. I'm doing it. The stupid hold on to everything shuffle. I said I wouldn't do that. It's gone. It would have been perfect. Well, we can use something else. Go digging in the garbage. No. Even this is debatable about whether or not I want to use it. There's a good voltage regulator on it though. So maybe this is our key in to using for the Arduino. Let's take a look at what it is. And our circuit is wired to what? The LM297. We need to get this camera working. Let me work on this right now. I can't believe that happened and how predictable it was. So I'm going to unplug the camera. Wait a second. And plug it back in. That's going to confuse the Stream Deck. So I might lose his Stream Deck camera. Deactivate in OBS. Reactivate. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is restart the Stream Deck, because the direct controls over cameras don't work because the identity of the USB is changed and it needs to find it again. This is very annoying to have to go through. Their array setup looks a lot like ours, so I think that we did find the right project. Okay, so Stream Deck is up, and now I can do setup and do micro procedure. And that does a bunch of different settings in order to get the Logitech webcam to look right. And it looks like I had the aperture too far open lately. This doesn't look as good as it did before, huh? What's going on with that? Oh, there we go. It's just lighting. Just lighting. So it's an 1117, and it looks like it's 3.3 volts. 3.3 volts. I think we have a 5 volt. This is from 2015. Jeez. I think this is a 5 volt Arduino. AMS 805. Yeah, this is a 5 volt. So I'm looking at the part numbers and I'm looking for 3s and 5s. If you see on a voltage regulator, you see a 3, then it's going to be a 3.3 volt regulator typically. I mean, it's obviously prudent to go to the data sheet, but this is an 1117, which is just your regular old low dropout voltage regulator. So this is the T33. AMS, I don't know what their specs are. I'd have to look up the data sheet to figure out what the voltage in is. I think the 1117 is so common in modular synthesizers because it has a 12 volt rail, and you need a voltage regulator that can go from 12 to 3. And so this would be a great candidate for this project, assuming that I'm using 12 volts in the motor controller. But 3 volts may not jive with the Arduino Nano, because I think I got a 5 volt Mega 328P 1429. I think that's 5 volts. I'm not sure. So assuming this is 5 volts. Now, how did I wire this thing up? VCC is over on this pin here. So I would think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, this is a power switch here. And then we've got a couple other controls over here for something. I don't know what. Look at that. I remember wiring this, but I don't remember what it's for. What is this? I do not recall what I was doing here. I've got some kind of a transistor flipping something. I've got several resistors that are doing multiple channels. I think those are pull downs for buttons or pull ups for buttons. Maybe? I don't know if this is the same thing as for something else that I just don't know what it is. We're going to use this microcontroller though, because this is sitting in the back of a drawer that I had no idea what it was doing. So we'll transfer it over to a new PCB as well. I'm gonna hurt myself getting this thing out of there. We'll use a screwdriver to do it. These are the knockoff Arduino Nanos, so I think when I have the programmer, I need to flip it upside down. But once we put this into its application, this is going to be what this thing does until I throw it out because it's so obsolete. These days, we've got much better microcontrollers to do everything. These are really aged at this point, but this is kind of a perfect application for it. There's even you have to jumper D10 and D11. You can get all the components in a kit. Huh. Are they the components or is it like a PCB? It took me to the open part of the what is that thing? Tool set controller. Cool. It's like one of those circular screens, but it's got like a thing around it. That's kind of neat. Okay, so that didn't help us. It didn't take us specifically to the thing. Was it like Robot Shop? Maybe they still have it. I'm not going to buy parts for this. I'm just looking. Yeah, bitte. Why did it? You took it away from me. Because I agreed to being tracked by cookies. It took me to the like the beginning of the whole site. That's obnoxious. Well, that's cool. You can get this whole thing in a big kit. And it looks like it's still the Arduino Nano. Okay, so. Doesn't look too difficult for us to resurrect this thing. We do have, oh, that's right. You're supposed to test these to see if they work. Oh, you're supposed to know the polarity of them. Etc., etc. I'm just looking. So one of these looks like it's broken, and I would like to replace it, which means that I've got to either dig around and look for my transducers, which had a bin for them, but I don't know where they all went. I don't know if I have too many left, but right about here, it's just gone. So that one clearly does not work among the others in the array. This one stands out because it's dead. So we've got to replace this one. So more rooting around for parts. I don't like to have that be part of the stream, but it always takes up the most amount of time, is me rooting through the mausoleum of BS projects that I've done in the past and finding the one needle in this huge haystack of a shop. The singular bone needle in the haystack. This has lasers in it. We need to keep this bin. Keep that one right there. I don't think I'm going to use a high-powered blue laser on the little silly alignment laser that this thing needs. That's a bit much. So there should be, oh my god, making can noises. Ah! Put that back in the recycle bin. Okay, hold on. All this stuff fell. This is still a complete disaster mess. But we can get through it and find the stuff for a block of wood. What is, that doesn't go there. It goes over here. This nightmare mess of a shop that I have. I believe that there is a bin somewhere in here that has an ultrasonic transducer in it that I could potentially use to replace the dead one. Or we can take apart a ultrasonic rangefinder, but I'd rather not do that. It seems like it's a bit much. This one is weights and stuff. Oh, and the old Amazon ordering things that Short Lurker sent in. Those little one-button order laundry detergent things that apparently you can't hack of a certain generation, which was annoying because then I could have had a little battery-operated button that could have done something cool. Probably could have hooked it up to MQTT and had just a little battery button that would activate something. That would have been cool. Here's a bunch of screens. I'm not using a screen on this. It's insulin pump parts, vacuum tube replacings, more vacuum tubes. All right, NFT stuff or just metal stuff? I don't even really know. Huh. Motion stuff. This one is keyboard stuff. No, none of these are relevant. I don't know what happened to the transducer. Just the bare one. I had a whole box of bare transducers and I probably did something with it. Let's see if they're in these. What about you guys? Not in. Nothing. See, my memory is vague because I haven't been through this stuff deeply in a while, and I don't remember there being a transducer in any of the bins, so it could be anywhere. I think I had something like 6 of them left. Here goes that. Some smartwatch stuff that I've never done anything with. Pad for joystick. Water cooling fittings, definitely not in there. That balances, good. Check this one. I thought it would have been in this one. No, it's just old weird stuff. And this one is all burn the subs, some ferrules, there's some laser stuff, but this is like the blue laser stuff, so we don't really want to mess with this today. All right, so I don't know if I have available transducers. We can rob one out of a sensor, which is not really the way that I should be doing this because then that kills the sensor, but I think I have 2 of the ultrasonic jobbies. All right, let's go see. Let's come back over here. Come back over here. So, I know we can find one. This is what we're going to be working on. I can't believe that the perfect thing to power this or to give this a display was in my possession, and I did something with it. I threw it out. I said, I shouldn't throw this out because I have a problem, and that's hoarding stuff. What happens is you save something, and it'll be useful in one corner case one time. And you tell yourself, oh man, what was I thinking? I'm so glad I saved this thing that takes up space. But that never happens. It never happens. So you throw the thing out. And then suddenly, there it is. Wait, why did the idea light just light up? Are you guys typing and I'm not seeing chat? I have 3 notifications. Your on-screen chat is not working again. Sorry, everybody. Here, we can cache the chat. Yeah, that's part of the existence of the idea light, is that you guys can use it to flag me down if something bad happens. Somebody asked a question in chat and I lost it. Okay, let me scroll up. Does anybody go with Arduinos anymore? Do people just go straight for an ESP or ESP32 or 8266 directly now? I feel like there's no need to use the plain old Arduino anymore. That's the inexorable march of time. The march of time goes on without us, and everything gets better and better, both cost-wise and capability-wise. So an Arduino Nano project is relatively rare these days, and that's fine. That's just the way things go. They're harder to find, and I grab them for like little things that I need to do, but I never buy them. I have not bought them in ages because my starting point with a more complicated project would typically be with a whatever it is, a Teensy 4.0 project, because the Teensy 4 is psychotically fast. It's like 600 megahertz. Not that you need psychotically fast, but it's there if you need it. Oh yeah, here, see, I have 2 ultrasonic distance finders. So one of y'all's gonna get sacrificed, unfortunately. Although a lot of the microcontrollers in my microcontroller bin are really getting aged as well. Like these are ESP8266 things. The ESP32 is affordable enough that you can just go straight to that and then figure out whether or not it'll work in the less capable microcontroller if you can even be bothered by the time you build the project. So this is becoming a mausoleum is what's happening. This is becoming a historical time capsule of things you probably shouldn't even use. I need to refresh this thing's cache, the social stream blade. I don't know how to do that. If I just hit reload, maybe it'll come back. Chrome is being a little bit aggressive about parking old pages. I need proof of concept, then yeah, I tend to pivot towards CircuitPython. I have not really, I've got into a little bit of CircuitPython. Python has kind of a flow to it, which is kind of nice. If you're doing stuff that's simple, you can kind of talk through the project and you're like, oh, I just programmed it in Python. I grabbed my node NCUs for rapid POCs. Huh? Now, POC project of condition, I don't, can't remember the last time I grabbed an Arduino. Yeah, like for this one, I need a programming dongle. Whereas the more modern stuff, you have USB. You can even program it over Wi-Fi, which makes iterating, the term that we use instead of saying fuck up, we iterate through a project. Programming it over Wi-Fi is kind of neat. I love the Tiny 85, but they're too expensive and annoying to get a hold of. ATtiny 85 really pushed me to become an excellent programmer. Proof of concept. Oh, why didn't that come up when I was thinking about it? I have STM32 for my Dymo conversions. Interesting. Be able to bypass the RFID. Huh. This is why we never throw anything out ever. It's a bad excuse. 99 of my projects I want Wi-Fi, so the Arduino's out. Yeah, like if you're making MQTT stuff, I can spin that up on an ESP8266 like that. Yeah, the thing about the Idea Light is that if I don't see my chat moving, I'm not sure whether or not it's just me being unpopular because, you know, last week and the week before and the week before and the week before, I missed a bunch of streams. And so the internet tends to kind of like forget about you and you can come back. And I've come back from that. A lot of, I'm losing viewers. People are getting lives, which is, I cheer that. It's great. I want 0 users and everybody would have these wonderful and fulfilled lives instead of watching my dumbass. Anyway, the point is, I don't know whether or not I'm unpopular or if chat is broken. So when the Idea Light goes off and my chat doesn't move, then I know something's broken. So that was part of, we were going to make an admin flasher. Back when I was popular, when it was like actually a stream and things were rolling and I needed like staff, I was going to make a little thing of LEDs that went on top of this chat camera that was bright, and OctoJ would have been able to use it through Discord. We tested the bot in Discord. It was incredibly slow. Like, I don't know why he would type something and then literally 2 seconds later it would get into the machine. And it's like, this is not tenable. This is not good. I don't know, maybe now with Node-RED I can find something that does Discord as well, but need to integrate bot commands to control some of the Stream Deck items like refresh chat. That would be an interesting one too, is if somebody types refresh chat into the thing, it'll refresh it. But I don't want people stumbling over themselves to do that, because then you'll get a bunch of refresh chat commands and your chat's just gonna blah, 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 blah. I mean, it would be effective, but people might just hit refresh chat in the middle of chat. Generally, it's a very bad idea to trust viewers with things. But that's where we get a lot of our comedy from, is by trusting viewers with things. These are different. These have a black screen. These have a silver. I wonder if this one's different than that. You can trust us. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Totally just trust you guys with with my stream key. This one is also a different design. Ah, damn it. Both of the spares that I have are very old, but they also have a different different type of emitter. They're also different fundamentally. Weird. Decan it and pull out the guts? No. How hard would that be? I think it's folded over. I think it's folded. Here it is right here. Let's get this one out. That just means unsoldering the two posts. Good, we got the good iron in there. Just get the solder off of it. Solder. And this thing is hot glued in place. If you could just break. Yeah. Yeah, it's the can is the whole thing. It's like, or no, it's actually got like a fold in the back here. So it's been folded over and attached to itself. So yeah, I'm not doing that. Now, which way do these go? You're supposed to get the polarity of all of them, and I think I did that, but I don't know. Let's see. The big thing was up top, right? Or no, it was like that. Okay, all the marks are facing inwards. Okay, that'll do it. So the marked pin is the wider leg. We just need to make sure that it's what the polarity is on these other ones. Apparently, it can vary. This giant hangnail. What is this? I hate it when my nails do this because they don't stop doing it. We're doing nail repair. Hold on. That's better. This one too? Come on, thumbnail. I trusted you. Those are going to keep going like that, aren't they? I need the like actually wait, I have a nail file right here. Infinite nail files. There's a metal file. Watch Bother do his nails live on stream. There's a use for the airbrush. I could airbrush my nails on stream. Anything for content. That didn't really work, did it? No, it didn't. Whatever. Okay, that's just going to run away from me. All right, let's get one of these ultrasonic transducers out of here. I don't know which one of these is the better one, and I don't have any uses for an ultrasonic rangefinder. I have cooler rangefinders that I can do stuff with. All right, let's see. These are got to come out, and then we got to get the multimeter on them to figure out which is the positive and which is the negative side. We'll see how to do that in a minute. First, I'm just going to bounce between the pins and just slowly walk this thing off of the PCB. So I'm going to put a little pressure on one side by pulling back with my finger and heat that up. And so that's now tilted down like that. And go over to the other side and do the same thing. Heat up the pad, make sure both pads get nice and warm if I want to resurrect the electronics, and just walk it back and forth like this. This is going to take a little while. Ooh, it's all rainy and stormy out. How lovely. Okay, just need to keep... I'm going to add some solder to this just so I have a little bit more thermal stuff and a little bit of flux on the joints. On the joints. My favorite place to ride out a storm are the brick areas in Philadelphia. I don't know what it is about those areas, but they're so cozy, where everything is brick and trees. This thing is heating up when I'm doing this, so I don't want to burn myself. I mean, you guys can try. You can clock the heat on the thermals, even though the metal is reflecting heat at the moment. I'm gonna maybe switch off and use tweezers to put pressure under this now that I've opened it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because it's starting to get too hot to touch. So tweezers are nice for removing electronics because they're pre-sprung, but I use them like this, where I put both whatever prongs under the object, and now I can very gently lift further out, and it will push the electronic component away from the PCB. The important thing here is that I keep heat on this so that I stay molten, and then this thing will probably pop out eventually. Nope. Okay. Oh, because it moved up so far that it wasn't putting any pressure on it. Dun dun dun. Here, see if we can use a foreign object, and then I don't have to hold it so close. I don't need the microscope for this. Just need to get heat into this thing. Back and forth. See, I can still feel the end of the foot on this side. It's the weird part. It moves a lot more when I do the other side, but there it is. Okay, finally dropped out. 0439. What did they call it before? They called it an 04? All right, I'm just going to use... actually, I should use the solder sucker because it's cheaper. Just get all that excess solder that we added off of this leg. It's pretty good. Wow! Whoa! It just shot at me. SR04 is the full module for TX and RX. See, I think the ones that I have are RXs, so we're kind of mismatching. Ouch. Which is bad because we want matching modules, because then we'll have those waveform fronts and they'll be a little bit more predictable. So I don't know if I need to look around even more and find out where all of my ultrasonic transducers have gone. I had a ton of them, and the majority went into these. Yeah, and this one, the case is grounded. It's not isolated. Did that ground itself, or did I do that? I think it grounded itself. Yeah, no, it's been like that. Okay. What's this? An Adafruit page. Ew. Get that all the way over to this monitor. HC04 sonar distance sensor. See, those are the black grills. Yeah, there's the ultrasonic distance sensor. What is what? Fast, fairly low cost, require powering from 5 volts for the best results. Trigger signal can be 3 volts, 5 volts, the echo signal. Okay, so that's just more about the stuff on the PCB. $3 for another one of those. Well, okay, so, I mean, I've got this one here. I don't know where the old ones could have gotten to, or if I have any at all. Yeah, you can get a pack of 5 on Amazon. Yeah, that's what they're charging. All right, let's check the polarity of this one. So I think we go into diode mode. Let's let us check. Big Lev. Oh, that's Thingiverse. Thingiverse is such a busy website. Jeez. What happened to our other page? Did I close it? I'm going to bring it back from the dead. Yeah, I closed it. What happened to that? Control-Shift-T. There we are. Oh, is it? No? Oh, no, that was the... Okay, I'm dumb. This is the page. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. So let's see. What are we doing? We're looking for... the polarity of this thing. So the consistency is all over the place. We don't need to do the copper tape method, although that is a very clever way to do it. What mode are we using? Is that ohms mode? Oh, they're going to see where the swing in power is, because the piezo element, when it shakes, it'll generate. Okay. Easy peasy. Hit pause on that. So I am just going to clip on to it, and we'll do volts DC. Volts DC, come on over here. And technically, it should be positive is the isolated one, but that may not be the case. Bada bit bop bop, boop bop, beep beep beep. Do I need to like hit it with something? It looks like that is the polarity of it though. I wonder what kind of electricity this whole array generates. Beep bop, beep bop bop. Ba 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 ba. I think that's right. I don't know. Oh yeah, there you go. We can see it swing. So positive here, negative here. I doubt it created 3 volts. Huh, wait a minute. Yeah, there, it went up. 1/3 of a volt? You gotta be kidding. There's no way. But it goes from 3.9 to 4.1. So the positive leg is the opening there. I don't know how I marked these. I think I marked them with the positive, which means that the positive leg goes on the inside here. I don't know if this is going to be a 1-to-1. I'm a little wary of what we're doing. I just don't want this one to be missing and have it swing all of our low spots. But I mean, the one we removed is clearly damaged. Oh yeah, I should probably put a dollop of hot glue on it. Power that up and let it heat up. Wonder how long this thing takes. Looks like it... No, it doesn't look like it's toasty at all. Is there a power... Oh, there is a power switch on it. Okay. It's really bad. This is like a really cheap accessory, this 20-volt hot glue gun. Really, really cheap. There's like 5,000 different designs of these things. I wanted to get it just because, you know, I've got the DeWalt batteries. I wanted to use the DeWalt batteries. So I don't know what kind of quality this is. My champion glue gun, I have a little $1 Michaels glue gun. I bought it for $1. It was in a bin full of glue guns, and it's served me for nigh on 10 years now without fail. So getting a new one like this and spending more than $1 on it feels kind of bad. But I'm giving it a shot. These tool guys on like YouTube will have you buying all these silly accessories. I'm reviewing this new tool that you can spend $40 on. It's like, no, just find something that works. Don't be a tool freak. Been a minute. Probably should start working. Looks like the tip is hot. This is like a thermo rubber. What is that doing? Huh. Weird. Weird materials here. Weird. Well, it shows up on thermals better than the brass. Hello? Glue? Do we have glue? Glue sign. There's glue. Little dollop of it. So I'm going to give it a minute or so after that. And I need to find a glue stick. Where are you glue sticks? Let's see. One of these drawers has glue sticks in it. I have a bunch of black glue sticks too, so I can make it all look cool whenever we have to hot glue something, which is fairly rare, to be honest. I don't like hot glue all that much. It's not a great builder. Good for little weird projects. Where did my sticks of hot glue go? I think they're over here. No, it's not. Those aren't hot glue. Are you hot glue? There's a saw. Ah, the saw blade will not. I can't look for stuff without the saw blade taking a little bit of my skin off. Just any interactions with it. It's one of these tungsten jobbies. Every time I get near it, it cuts me. It has a shiv. All right, I don't see any more sticks of hot glue, so hopefully we can just get this whole operation done within the glue that I've already got. Get this facing the right direction, like that. Glue's already cooled off. There we go. Hold that down. And I guess before I go and do the other stuff, I should probably repair this stuff. So let's see if we can just get big dollops of hot glue everywhere. And those will be a replacement for material in here. Hold this together. Ah, my hand's cramping. Why doesn't this feel like it fits in this orientation? It has to. The wire's going through it. Yep, I need to find the hot glue sticks. Darn it. This is incredibly flimsy. I don't know how this is going to go back together. Okay, yeah. Where's my hot glue? Where are you, hot glue? Is that you, hot glue? The other hot glue gun is sitting in the wooden cabinets, so maybe that's where all of my stuff went. Try to keep from another lab-avalanche. Means I need to actually put those bins away. This is all part of the organization around here, is that I can't get to my stuff without things being organized in some way. I don't know about the foot powder. I mean, I guess it does okay for the 3D scanner. I don't know how important that, because that scanner feels like it can get around stuff being... What just fell down and disappeared? Something fell down, hit the big piece of plastic board, and then vanished behind stuff. What the heck, man? It went just straight down this way. Ridiculous. Glue. Glue. That's small glue. I'm looking for big glue. Big glue. Big glue has you in their pocket. Oh, here's big glue. How do you get the glue out of a hot glue gun? I guess I can grab it at the back here. What up, Gunhead? The Booms cheese emote. Is the sorting table finished? No, it's exactly where we left it last time. We'll get to it Friday. We'll do more cleanup on Friday because I've got some like little weird things in there that I'd like to do, like figure out the winch, the winch that I want to power with these batteries, the DeWalt battery. All right, I'll grab this. Hopefully I can push it completely out. It doesn't look like it. I have to use this much hot glue. This is like 3/4 of a stick. I have to push this stick all the way through here in order to get to the new glue. utterly ridiculous. I guess this is putting this thing through its paces, huh? We're putting the glue gun through some paces. I need like a piece of cardboard as a catch for the astronomical amount of hot glue that I now need to extrude from this thing. Luckily, there's tons of it, even though it's recycle day. Battery interface to power line adapter. Huh? Yeah, basically what I'll be doing is taking one of the adapters for electrifying a Hot Wheels. Which, by the way, I just saw a kid in a Hot Wheels in this neighborhood. It's pretty cool. Willow was not exactly a fan. This is a big pile of hot glue. Levitate potate? No, we're not levitating any potates. We can barely levitate a little tiny piece of styrofoam. Once I get this thing working again. And it turns out that thing we threw out yesterday, that thing with the screen with all the buttons, would have been perfect for this application. Ooh, smell that hot glue. I mean, look at that. When you load up the stick, the controls are all the way back here. Ridiculous. It's like this thing is stupid. This control needs to be here. Why is it so far back? Did they just want to make it look like a hot glue gun? Because like nothing is happening in this area. So move your control up a little bit so that I can be a little bit more economical with these glue sticks. This is ridiculous. Utter insanity. All right, I'm going to put this over here. Well, I'm trying to repair this whole thing. That means injecting glue into it to hold these uprights upright. So I guess I'll squish a little bit on there. Just to hold it. Once that dries, or cools, I can inject hot glue into the side. Ugh, God, it's separating on me. And look, it's already about to not be able to grip the stick. Thing's a piece of garbage. Geez, the black hot glue kind of makes it look a little more sinister with all the little strands of like spider web that are left behind from hot gluing stuff. How am I going to get that piece? If I just throw hot glue into both sides. It's going to look terrible, but whatever. Whew. Well, it's not supposed to really hold up anything but itself, so whatever I want to put on top of it. It's not structured. Well, it's not that structural. The hot glue will be enough. It just needs to cool off. Can't grip. Can't grip. Ridiculous. Worst hot glue gun. There we go. Listen, I should reprint this because there are better designs for it. This is just us trying to recycle this thing. This is an old PLA print of this mess. Oh, wow, that's melty. I could have even used a hot knife just to heat it up and hopefully stick it back together. Needs McDonald's coffee stirs. The thought occurred to me, but I don't have any. I have like metal, and I'm not going to use metal. The carbon fiber rods that we found yesterday. I could stick those in. Where are those? There's a couple. I could get it really, real hot and just stick the carbon fiber rod down there. Offcuts of copper. Yeah, PETG is my go-to. Oh, see, the glue is still warm. This one will probably get caught. Yeah, that doesn't go down through. There we go. There, now it's got carbon fiber. We're using space age materials. I don't think they poke all the way to the bottom, but they do go far enough that they kind of hold things together. That actually lent it quite a bit of stability, and we got to use the carbon fiber rods that I ordered because the cross beam support for the RC car is a carbon fiber plate, and they drilled some of the holes in the wrong spot. So I wanted to be able to fix that, so I bought these carbon fiber rods to insert into the holes and use to fix it. But I never got around to doing that, and I've abandoned that project. So now we have our expensive high-end composites in use in this project. It now holds this thing vertically. And actually, it's doing a really good job. That was a hell of a suggestion from Gonad that I sort of took to the nth degree because of the cleanup stuff that we did. I use hips a lot. What is that? High-end plastic stick. If I had little cocktail swords, I would use those. My go-to print is PETG, though. High impacty, high impact polystyrene. All right, that sounds kind of cool. Yeah, so this glue gun is a piece of shit. It's gripping the stick way too high. The sticks, maybe if I bought longer sticks, it would be better. It does heat up in a decent amount of time, and it does deposit nicely. It fits in the hand nicely, and it grips great. It is one of about 1 billion similar designs, and I really wish they would move this mechanism up. I know the glue gets soft around here, but I mean, geez, come on. It takes almost an entire stick for this thing to be usable, right? That's the length of the stick. So it's gripping the stick back here when the usable area is up by the nozzle. It's ridiculous. You get one stroke, and then you suddenly can't grip this thing again. So you have to have another stick sitting behind, lengthening it. They probably sell longer sticks. It's probably my fault, but still, it's for the little things like electronics. Like, no, this is totally overkill and stupid. Would I take it to a festival? Yeah, probably be useful in a festival. Capacitor printing. What? Oh, we just made one. See, we made a capacitor. It's got a dielectric and substrates. It's still Hips doesn't work on a bamboo webs. This is still very tacky, and it's only warm. Interesting. Well, maybe I'm using this particular brand of glue wrong. Does this come off on my skin? It does not. Pretty clean, and it feels nice too because it's got a little bit of heat to it. Nice and warm. I've never seen a hot glue gun that doesn't use a bowl stick like you said. There are like super industrial hot glue guns that are fascinating to me, but they're way too expensive. Ones where they actually have threads on the glue and it advances it by advancing the threads. It's crazy stuff what you can get into with big name, you know, big brand hot glue. But yeah, if this is a common problem, I guess I don't know about it because I was using a micro hot glue gun for the longest time. This thing cost a grand total of $1. And it's long since lost its rubbery tip or whatever, the plasticky rubbery tip, gone. But this thing, because of the dimensions of the whole thing, this grips much further back on the glue stick, and it ends up, well, maybe it does suffer from the same problem. I just haven't dealt with it in a while. Maybe I just haven't dealt with it in a little while. But I think gluing this levitating thing back together would have been beyond the ability of this little guy. So I bought this in a moment of passion. I don't really like it. Hot glue in general, I just don't like using. But man, the carbon fiber rod, completely in its element. It's actually kind of great. I had one of those. It burned my house fuses. I figure that the bare minimum to sell a product in America means that this thing would have some modicum of safeties on it that would keep it from burning the entire house down. Namely, my reluctance to keep it plugged in would be the main safety factor in this whole thing. Oh yeah, this is cooled down. I can't... Do I need to glue the top of the carbon fiber rod? I don't think so. I don't think so. So up here in the brain area is where we would be hooking everything up. This could potentially go on its own PCB, but it doesn't fit inside of here. What are these motor controllers anyway? Do I have a better motor controller board for this thing that isn't the LM? Oh yeah, we need to solder the thing too. The electronics are literally just a wire. Yeah, but there's still safety devices on that. Where's the one that I need to solder? I can find you this way, or I can find you the hard way. Your choice. All right, we'll find it by identifying. There it is. So it is right here. I just need to bend the wires into place, and there's hot glue in the way. Now that I've completely hot glued this thing. Probably should not have done it around this area. Okay, so I need forceps, and I need to peel away a little bit of hot glue that's blocking my ability to wire this thing. The safety device is a wax-filled cylinder that has a thermoplastic or wax or whatever that will basically allow a spring to disconnect if it's overheating. I think that's what is required. Most appliances need to have that. Okay, this stuff is kind of annoying. I could just use alcohol in this, but I kind of want to... Jeez. Okay. All right. I have to cut stuff and pry stuff. Getting wire cutters near wires. The wire provided the hot glue with a dam, and it stopped the flow of it, but it also like connected to it. Yeah, okay. I need some pretty crazy pliers to peel it away because it's a big blob of hot glue. Also don't want to damage my ultrasonic thing. I've glued myself into a corner here. Yeah, there it is. This stuff is nasty. It's kind of great. I have much respect for you, glue. You are a mighty warrior. All right, I think I can get to the post now. Kind of hard for you guys to see. There we go. All right, that's going to be tough to solder, but I think I can get to it. Yeah, that's touching now. The posts on this one were shorter than the other ones, so they're right up against that plastic. Get all the excess stuff away. You can see that when the chips are down, I tend to flail around for my tools and pull everything out, and then I've got all this mess on my workspace. Put that back. Okay. Whew. This thing was so wobbly before, but now that the glue's dry and I just literally put one carbon fiber rod through there and it poked through the glue. So it's got glue around it, but it's not really stuck in the glue. Still, that provided it with all of the damping qualities. And so now with the power of carbon fiber, this thing is stable as hell. That's so cool. What a solution. When it does break, it's going to make a splintered mess, but whatever. Okay, so solder the one driver that's totally covered in glue and has inaccessible pins. Maybe I'll use the thick solder for this, not the thin stuff. Where is it? Show yourself. Hopefully that didn't create a little over-under situation. And just a big dollop on both spots. Should reattach it to the array. That one's good. I think that other one's good. I can't check it over as much. You guys, of course, can't see what I'm doing. Talking about how great the visuals are on my stream, and then I subject you guys to this. I've noticed on the nightly news, because I've been walking the dog a lot, I've been seeing more nightly news than I can ever stomach. They say, hey, look at this. Check this out. They've been saying that a lot. I think it's engagement farming. Look over here. Check this out. They're like dangling their jingly keys in front of the audience in an attempt to get their attention. And some executive got paid for that piece of advice. You believe it? Probably makes a really good salary off of pieces of advice like that. Look over here. Look at this. Look this way. Hey, check this out. Look at this. I hate social media so much now. All right, so we got our replacement driver in there. Now we actually have to engage with the project and figure out what in the heck I'm doing, because this motor controller gets warm. It's not the end of the world. I do have like a cover for this thing. That doesn't fit under the cover. I don't think I can bend the thing at a 90-degree angle. I could potentially find a different motor controller, but do I have like a different... I have all kinds of stepper motor controllers. Yeah, well, I don't know how volatile is being an executive in that world. I don't think they may move around and get fired a lot, but they still get the jobs. So let's see. That's essentially what we did with the other one. Yeah, they're using breadboards, and they got their little program right there, and they got their own better glue gun than mine. So they're putting it on like a whole thing. I don't think I need to do that. Need 2 probes with transducers connected. I have the same worst crap ever glue gun. Oh. Well, look, it's not hard to be better than the glue gun that I have. Connecting the wires shown on the right should provide optimum performance and minimal power consumption. Otherwise, swap the red and the black wire. When we were able to get levitation, did we have to use the O-scope? Guess so. I just need to find, I think I need to find a different motor controller, but this is the L298N. Let's look up the L298M or N? N. These were sent in by Twisted Sister. Full bridge. 4 amps, 46 volts. And it's compatible with 3 volt signaling. And it's a whole deal. It's just a whole thing. Look at it go. I mean, I could put it on standoffs and have it stick above the rest of the stuff. With its control buttons and everything on a PCB. A separate PCB. I guess I have to do that. That's pretty much the way it's got to go. It's got to go down like that, chat. Mini Lev. How cute. All right, so easy enough. Let's just make this into a project platform. Ah, scrolling, it's infinite. Use the glue gun one time in a blue moon. So it's not often I want to invest in an expensive one. Yeah, same. I almost never use the glue gun. So, I mean, what I can do is use this pad here as my project platform and just put standoffs to stuff. So that means disconnecting the 4 connections here. Now, how are these connected? Oh my God, so many wires. So many wires. So one transducer does the top, the other one does the bottom, plus and minus. Okay, that's easy enough. So I'll undo this whole thing and get all this stuff off of it. This is like one of those cool science display kind of projects, so I do want to keep it together. And I don't really need to have so many temporary connections on it. Like these are breadboard connections. I can put more permanent connections on it. I have a cordless glue gun still in the package. That's how much I get to use them. Yeah. That's like never. Okay, so we'll just reuse this board. It'll still get dusty. Do these output voltages at all? There's a 5 volt pin. I don't know if that needs, we'll take a look at the data sheet in a second. Okay, so if we're doing that, then this is just going to be sealed. It didn't even need these little air vents on them. And then we just need to figure out where the stuff is going. If I use these for the wires, I could have the wire come out there and just go to the 2 spots here. We have a different board that would put the Arduino on. Or I don't put it on a board, and the board would just have voltage regulators and other stuff. Move that to be like that, and have the Arduino sitting in the middle. Now I'll just put it on a board. This will be fine. Okay, so I just need to mark out where these things go. I'll get a bunch of cheap standoffs and put them where the holes are. And I think I might redo this board and not have so many connectors on it. I don't want to crimp connectors. So I'll just have the PCB, but I'll plan for this size of PCB just because it's easier for me to implement. Now I have these hole marking markers, but I don't think I really need that. I think I could just use a Sharpie with a thin tip and then try to align these things. How can I do that? Let's see. Square is going to help me at all here? Yeah, not really. No, it's not going to do it. Nope, this will just be a good enough kind of thing. Okay, and then this thing, or should it be heatsink towards the center of things? Nah, that heatsink is just the most annoying part about it. Actually mark that? Oh, but the markings are way off now. There we go. Cool. 8 holes. Completely terrible spots. Should work just fine. Get the battery off of this thing. Now, I could just hot glue them in place, but we have standards. Hot glue is just being used to repair. Drill's all the way over here. Which one is my drill? There it is. I haven't done something like this in a while. It's nice to just kind of do project stuff sometimes, instead of anything too advanced or computery. We're just sitting here and building something. Still have the 10 original sticks that came with mine. I bought my glue gun from, I believe, Michael's a century ago. Like it really has been a genuinely long time since I bought that glue gun, and it has not failed me. There's my drill bit for this kind of stuff. Let's use this one. That's relatively small. I think I'll be able to get the threads of the laptop, the pan head screws through that, and it'll make a big enough hole that we have a little wiggle room around it. All right, let's see here. Without even marking pilot holes or anything. Yeah, because this is like butter for this drill bit to get through. It's like nothing. Might as well be drilling nothing at all. Oh, that one's way in the wrong spot. Let's try to walk that one back over. That might get within the realm of wiggle room. We'll see. I did want to, like design this in CAD and actually hide all of the screws in the base, but at this point, with it having sat on the shelf broken for years, I just need to get something done. This kind of part of the project, I never get right. I never get right. I always grab a tube of E6000. I don't have any of that, I don't think. Although the glues, whenever I have glues, they always sit for so long they expire. This is how I attach stuff, is with screws and a drill. All right, so I need standoffs. I have not bought a kit of standoffs in a while, but I do have an entire bin that's filled with the damn things, so that should work pretty well. And then in addition to that, I need one of my screw kits, my small hardware kits. This will do. Filled with stuff. All right, let's see here. I guess we need a new PCB. So that's over to my right. Find the bin. There it is. Ah, okay. Yeah, could have put it on one of these. It's a little bit much. All right, there's that. That's our building platform. These may need to be drilled out, which makes them kind of weird. Unless I can find small enough standoffs. Let's see. What do we got? Yeah, like if I do them like that, then they are pretty tight in there. All right, let me just drill them out. Theoretically, the drill bit is where I put it, but I don't see it anymore. Great. Okay, where's the drill bit? Who's joking around? I put the drill bit down over here and it walked. It went somewhere. What the hell? There's this little pile. There it is. It just like found its way behind everything. Very strange. Oh, these holes are plated. Not anymore, they're not. Okay. These little short guys. See if I can find 8 of them. It's good for those. Actually, here, let's take this off and move the... Well, I want the levitator to be in view because it's cool. What I should do is design a whole menu system with the OLED display and put an OLED display into the base, have it tune itself and show you whatever number you're on so you can tune it. But that's a whole project in and of itself, so we're not going to do that. There will just be 3 buttons on this thing that will help you adjust the levitator. I could make it very complicated. Ah, I'm getting attacked by my own circuit boards. I went to grab a screwdriver and it came with baggage. Okay, that'll do for that. Set this size too. Yes, indeed. Although I can't get it to a line. Yeah, I planned on this to be extensive and have like a little fan in it and everything. Didn't get there. Didn't get there. There was a screwdriver. Oh yeah, this one. Okay. Losing my mind. Don't you dare fall on the floor. Jeez, I just start doing stuff and things start trying to walk away from me. Oh, wow, this one's like way stripped out. What's going on with that? I have like a stripped screw in here. Well, it's going into the project. At least this way I'll never have to deal with it again. These I think work with the big screwdriver. Always use the largest screwdriver that'll fit the screw. Because then you get the most surface area on the sort of features of the screw, so it doesn't strip out. Near drop, yeah. I don't think we count near drops. Teardrops, got plenty of those. This, like the screwdriver has been sitting on a magnet hanger to the degree where it will pick up a whole bunch of screws when I put it into that screw bin. But when it comes to holding on to a singular screw, it drops it almost immediately. I don't understand that. I guess just the closeness of the screw to the little, what is it, fingers of the screwdriver is different. You know, I did it with such abandon that I almost got it to fit. One of them is just off by a lot. Ugh. So I got to loosen all of these. This always happens is you drill 4 things and the screwdriver or the drill bit walks in a direction and becomes inaccurate. It is too common. So I'm going to put screws through the top and then see if I can't tighten the bottom without things being in a weird place. High precision mill. Use the CNC for everything. Automate yourself out of the workshop. That's usually what I like to do. Makes me wonder, like, so I was going to work on like a desktop CNC project, but I wonder if what I should do is actually make the mill have a means by which to use stepper motors. And by that, I mean 3-phase servo motors with gear reductions on them. Maybe we should put that into the mill. I don't know how accurate the screw under the table is, though. I think that's one of the things people routinely swap out to upgrade that particular type of mill. So these are tight, but I can see that one of them really does not like where it is. These are like bowing outwards. So I think maybe this is the one that I need to move. Let's figure out where. Up and to the right. So this needs to go up this way. Now I remember from drilling it that it was bad, so loosen that up. Open that up, rather. Get that post out of the way. And this material is so soft that I think what I can just do is walk the drill bit to the side and it'll... It would be cool if I could just slap this material in and have it move to the first hole position and just have it move into the hole positions and drill and get it right the first time. When I use the DRO, that's what it's like. If I use the digital readout on the mill, I'm like, okay, the holes are in these positions and I just need to plug them in. And it works. Yeah, this material is so soft that I was able to walk that hole a little bit too far while talking to you guys. The drill bit moved like an end mill. Terrible. It's like... What I would do if I still had this orange filament was I would use, I would just move the holes in CAD and have it print the hole, because then it puts extra wall material around the hole, makes them a little bit stronger. I could even design the posts in Fusion and have it print the posts on the back of this thing, which is what I think I did for the other version of it. Oops, I tightened it too much. Ah. It's not centered. It'll never be centered. I didn't measure a damn thing. I'm not measuring stuff. 4 more posts. One. Tweezers are the better implement here. for getting these things out. What is the state of tablet control for CNC stuff? Isn't there like an open project that uses that? Because I got the old 7-inch tablets. It would be cool to be able to just like program 4 drill holes in that and have it use the servos to move it very precisely. Having CNC control would be, I think, an upgrade. It'd be a step up from what I currently have, which is a DRO, and that's it. The DRO was a big level up, though. That really helped me do a lot of stuff. Let's see how close we got these. These I think I did a little bit better of a job on, but usually stuff like this, it always eludes me. I try my very best. I do all the steps that you're supposed to do to drill 4 holes in exactly the right spot. You measure, you mark, you put a little divot in there. You can use these like starter bits to make sure that you've got just the right kind of divot for the screw. And then you drill it and you put the screw through and you screw them all together, and it turns out they're all in the wrong spot. And then I have to do that shenanigans that we just did with stretching the hole in order to make sure that it moves into the appropriate spot. I don't know why it always happens, and I think part of it is, well, no, but it shouldn't. The drill bit should not be walking away from the divot that you put in. But I think what happens is when I drill, because I'm drilling through all kinds of weird materials in these examples, I think the drill bit walks around as it hits different, like whatever you call it, densities of material. They're all off. They're all, no, this one is all the way to the left. What? Yeah, that's what maybe I think is happening, is it hits the infill. Aligned, well, ish. Okay, hold on. Aligned. What? What? Okay, so that one needs to go way to the side. You can see that it's off. Oh, and look, it's right on the infill. You're right. Now, the side of the drill bit does not like to cut. With the plastic, it'll heat up and eventually melt it. But I'm just applying pressure in the direction and trying to make it a little bit of an oval. But it's really not meant to cut. That's that OG Dremel bit, which is the one that has all the flutes on the side, where it's like a big spirally blade. That's the kind of drill bit that would be better at doing this. Of course, if you had one that actually did cut, it would be a complete monster, because the PLA is an extremely soft plastic. Find myself designing parts that have solid infills in the areas that I would end up drilling out. See, whenever I design parts, I don't like to have another step in the drilling. For the smaller holes, I guess drilling it would be a little better. But what I typically really like to do is just get all the holes in exactly the right spots, so I don't have to think about it, Which, for better or for worse, I am capable of. It doesn't always happen, but if I ever did have to custom drill holes, I gotta remember that, is to have like a solid platen around. Too much effort. You gotta measure stuff. It's not that hard. Break out the calipers. All right, get that one down. How in alignment is that? Oh, that's like perfect off. It never fails. Well, now we got another wiring project. Wire this, wire that, wire the other thing. In the center of this, I will have the laser. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to mount that. Probably hot glue, but that would be a much later step. Oh God, it's like a child drew it. And then I can see light through this over here. Oh God. Terrible. All right, so no more screws. I don't know if we'll get to the levitating part today. I have to take that up another stream. Yeah, we could work on this tomorrow. That just threw the tweezers into my crotch, where they then fell down onto the floor. Gravity, you universal constant. PCB that fell earlier. What did? And then it fell. I threw it up onto the top of the bench. It rattled around, fell down here, and then to the floor. It's just one of these days where everything is against you. Man versus shop. All right, that went pretty good. Not use that speaker wire anymore. Okay. Next step would be finding wire that I want to use, which we just organized the wire bin. So I'm just going to run over here, grab one of these kits, use one of these neglected kits of wire. I mean, I could really just do this with scraps, but. And then how do I want wire to board to occur? I guess I can be fancy pants with this. How are your infrared levels? What is that supposed to be? This stuff is a little bit thick. We need a couple coming out of this. We need a couple going into this. I need a barrel plug, which wouldn't be on the bottom. So having all the electronics on the bottom would be the ideal thing to do. F is equal to mg. Yes, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. I need something that I can attach to this board that will be a power input plug. But I don't know if I want power to come into the top piece. That's kind of weird, right? I can't really run wires now that it's all full of hot glue. That would be a way to do it. Ever used thermostat wire for hookup? What is thermostat wire? Is that stuff with the alternative jacket that's like high temperature? Can we get more stats on the drop counter? That's all you get. There's no, I don't know. Nightbot does not store that information. It's not a database. It's just a variable in Nightbot. Lucky for us, Nightbot has been running long enough that variable is stored through the 10 years of streaming. But only if somebody went through all my old videos and found all of the drops. Oh, that'd be... no, wait, chat isn't saved for a lot of those videos, so... On some of the funnier edited videos that I've seen people doing historically on Twitch, before we had the technology or whatever to put chat up on screen, they would have AOL Messenger windows come up with the comment on it when they were chewing down or dressing down a member of chat for any particular cursed comment that they had made. Is it too weird if the power is coming up like this and there's a wire that drops down and over? I guess this isn't exactly an art piece. This is not going in a museum, so it doesn't... I think, yeah, we can just keep it that way. The wire that goes from the thermostat to the HVAC system. I have a spool of 1,000 feet, 7 conductor, works pretty well for the perf board. Huh. I don't know. I don't know what wire that is. Is it solid? Neat. 104 drops per year, possibly. Solid stranded. Okay. That works well in the screw terminals, I guess. I put the barrel plug facing upwards there or facing to the side there. I guess that could be fine. So let's get a barrel adapter. If I use this one, it's facing straight up. That might be a little weird. But where else am I going to use this thing? So maybe I just pull it out of here. I gotta use some of this crap that I keep, keeping on the side. See if I can get this thing out with just my hands. It's probably going to heat up too much. I'll have to use the vise. Yeah, these are big blobs of solder. Hold on a sec. That's going to get way too warm. Yeah, we'll just make it awkward. This will just be awkward. You plug it in all the way up here, and then your adjustments will be on the buttons there, and then the Arduino will be somewhere in the midst, and I'll have the big power wire with 12 volts going back to this thing. Or wait, we're using 5 or 12. I'll have to... Do not forget to watch the attached video. The video's the instructions, where the second one is a fantastic video by Physics Girl explaining the physics behind it. Oh, okay, we'll check that out. And then we'll put a switch up here to turn it on and off, so it doesn't have to be permanently powered. This is a pretty easy project to do, and I'm just putting the sort of semi-finished buttons on it just to make sure that it can sit on a shelf again. And I can pull it out when I want to show it off on stream. This will probably fully desolder, to be honest. I was told we would have a pretty serious thunderstorm. They lied to me. Those storm people lied to me. They're not doing a good job controlling the weather. There we go. It's a little better. Ooh, this is nice and cozy. This is what I see. We haven't been doing projects like this for a little bit. I get to sit here with the iron, smoking away. I was getting a little down on myself because we weren't getting anything done. Didn't Trump take all their money and access to military satellites? Yeah. Yes, he did. And it's pretty rough because the weather forecasting people, all the people who are really good at it had already been taken up by BlackRock in order to predict weather for crops in other countries and totally rob them of all of their money. Basically stamping down the little man at any cost. So it's already, weather prediction was already in a pretty dire situation. It's not terrible, but I mean, it really does not seem as accurate as it used to be. I think I need the big iron on this one. I'm just not getting the heat in there. Look at that. It should be going to the other side, but yeah, let's get the larger tip on here before I burn out before I burn everything out. That can tend to happen and get everything up to too high of a temperature. The dog sniffing weather technique? What's that? Is that like the other day when I was outside with Willow and she kept looking in one direction? And it was the direction that the wind breeze came from. And the whole sky opened up and we got soaked. We had to run back in. She knew it was there. She just didn't have the words to tell me about it. I don't trust the weather predictions anymore. I just care about NWS alerts at this point. I built a Chrome extension to watch those. Oh, interesting. I mean, I get my forecast from the news in the morning. It's okay. It's just that they always think like, oh, just in a couple days, this heat wave is going to break. And I'm like, it's going to be the whole summer. Like, don't kid yourselves. You're just saying that so that people aren't mad at you. And then everybody forgets, and in a couple days they go, whoa, another heat wave. It's like, this isn't another heat wave. This is the same one. All right, so these are wire hookups, huh? That may not work out so well for me. Maybe we need to find a better barrel plug. Look at how the dog's reacting. If they react weird, it'll rain. I've not heard of that one, but that's a fascinating one. I had a bunch of barrel plugs. I do not know where they are. They're right here. I knew they were with the synthesizer parts. Not a heat wave, it's a whole heat ocean. I feel like we're close to getting nested heat waves. We're gonna have nested heat waves. We're gonna have a mid heat wave. That's how I feel like maybe we've completed one heat wave that was inside of another heat wave, and now we're on the original heat wave until that one expires. That's how it's been around. That's how it feels this summer. I have been a bubble boy all summer. I've been staying indoors as much as possible. The dog does it too. We go outside, she pees, she turns on a heel and goes right back in. It's like, nope, we're done. It's like a double rainbow. You know, that guy, that double rainbow guy has been posting videos up until today. Well, up until like, what was it, a month ago? Still posting because they scheduled like 14 years of videos. How did he have that much footage? I don't know. But like, damn, the dude died a while ago. It's not even recent news. Still posting videos. Crazy. Oh, Pacific Rim. I haven't watched that movie in a little while. Sorry, just putting the multimeter away. I was stepping on the probes. Don't want to step on the probes. So, what is the current draw going through this thing? I live in Florida, and we're getting to the point where the AC literally can't cool the house under 75. We've been running about 74, and I'm in the Northeast, and we run register fans in order to pump all that air around the whole house. So generally down here, it's like 73, which feels freezing because upstairs it's like 75. And slightly more humid because it's upstairs and people are coming and going. I couldn't imagine being in Florida. I wonder if we're going to see like an exodus from equatorial living. Of course, half of the people in this neighborhood go to Florida for the whole winter. I don't understand hating winter that much. Everybody's like, shovel snow, it's so bad. It's like, no, it's a little bit of exercise. It's nice. Like, I love the cold and snow. I guess I was just raised in it. We don't really have any idea of how much current this thing is going to be drawing, do we? It is raining outside. I can hear that. Okay, so they build it with probably, yeah, that looks like moderately oversized wire. This happens a lot in DIY projects, is they use the biggest wire you've ever seen. Typically, you would like recycle 18 gauge wire from like a power supply. I don't like that though. I like to size my wires a little better. Oops, and just put my, what did I just dump on the floor? Just inadvertently, just dumped it. It's just something stuck to my arm and okay, whatever. I'm just wondering if the thin legs of this will be okay for the amount of current that we're drawing, and it probably will be. It's 72 here in the middle of France. Is it humid? The humidity is the really stifling aspect of it all. I mean, you know, it's the common phrase. It's not the heat, it's the humidity that'll kill you. But it really is, because your body can't cool off. I need a a power switch, which is not, well, I don't actually have, don't I have rockers? Yeah, these are rocker switches up here, but we're not going to use that. We're going to use a normal sliding switch. More of these hoarding parts that I have. These are the true hoarding parts. These bins. These are where all of my sort of newish components sit. 55% in your room. It is 50% in this shop, but it is much higher outside because this is air conditioned. Yeah, what is our humidity right now? Hold on, let's look. I'm gonna look. I can't dox myself. Well, I'm sure if you guys had the drive, you'd be able to dox me anyway, but right now, the humidity is 82%. So it is 83 degrees out and the humidity is 82% because it's raining. Because it's raining. That's not, you know. Humidity is the voltage of weather. Well, you see, like when you've got volts and amps, it's kind of like having a pipe full of water and then I die. I hate that analogy so much. It's useful. It does describe the relationship, but it's annoying that we have one analogy. See, this is the hardware that I would use if I wanted to sync the controls into the sidewall, but humidity is a useless metric without temperature because it's dependent on temperature. Oh, we're starting to activate the weather nerds. The weather nerds are moving in on this conversation at an alarming rate. I'm going to get a weather nerd notification in a minute here. How about just this giant weird one? But that sits like a meter. This sits like 2 meters off of the surface of the circuit board. It started. They're starting to amass. This one is pretty good, but I don't think I want to use it here. I think I want to use cheaper hardware on this board. I thought I had a cheapo rocker switch somewhere. Just like one of those silly little ones that you use on something like this. An easy way to cut power. The Weather Channel soundtrack. I don't know, is there a soundtrack to the Weather Channel? I didn't know that. Let me see if I've got switches anywhere else, or if we can steal one off of something. Time-honored tradition of stealing a switch off of one project for another. And some spillover parts. Pots. Brr, 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 brr. I gotta look in all the little corners where I typically ignore stuff. All the weirdo bins. I need to buy like a rocker switch kit, I guess. At some point, a low voltage DC rocker switch kind of thing. For projects like this. I could have sworn I had a silly little bin filled with silly little switches that would be useful. Something like this. What is this one? Wait a minute. Oh, there's thunder in the background. The track is a banger? Oh man, I'll have to pay attention the next time I flip over to the Weather Channel. Yeah, that's a big thunderclap outside. It's like your mom sat down. This one's kind of fascinating. It's 3 pins and it's very surface mount and it takes up way too much space. But it would be kind of a cool... Tropical update at 45? I'm just not as learned as you guys are. I mean, I've never found a use for the Switch. And if I'm building something like with CAD, I would want a 3D model of it. The contacts are looking a little bit old, weathered. Used to just sit and watch Weather Channel when I was a kid. Okay, that explains some things. I was never that much of a weather nerd. Look at this. It's a one-directional thing. It can only follow the little race course on this path because there are little areas where it clicks over and finds the new path. That's typically where these things will fail. This one has a nice big spring on it, keeping it down. But, you know, these switches like this they're kind of fascinating. They're kind of neat to look at and talk about. They're found all over the place. It's just so that you click it and it stays in and it's on, now it's off. So the question is whether or not I can utilize this on our PCB, but it takes up a lot of room. It's sort of a fancy thing. If I could push it all the way to the edge and solder the anchor pins, those are these 2 pins on either side of it, solder those anchor pins all the way over there, then I've got my common NC and NO sticking on the back side like that. It used to be because I liked all the symbols and graphics and I enjoyed the music they'd play. I see. I'm going to pay attention next time Weather Channel's on. See if it appeals. Okay, so this all the way over here. So I can actually hear that banger of a track as it's so described. So I can put that all the way up on the edge, and then the on-off switch takes up a huge amount of area unless I put it underneath. So if I put it underneath and it just pokes through, then I do have a little bit of room to run stuff. But if I put it right side up, I guess it's fine too. It scratched an itch for my autistic brain, I see. This does also have 3 button controls that I have to incorporate into this thing. Those would be on the front, which I can fit in this area here, and then the Arduino goes here, and then the interconnections, I guess I can do with right angle DuPont, or I can do it with JST, which kind of makes it look like the circuit that we were working on before. But I want to do all the due diligence of having the proper power inlet and everything, even though it is an exposed circuit board project. This switch is okay. I mean, if push comes to shove, I could put in like a big rocker. These are probably center. Yeah, these are the center ones. These are better in like synths. So you have 3 selectable options. Okay, what about the bottom of this bin? I might as well use this special switch. I don't think I'm going to find anything to do with it. Yeah, all right, let's just put this stuff away. Let's put this stuff away. I found the switch. I could use a selector switch. No. I need to do more electronic people estate sales to find weird parts. Because while I have a lot of weird parts, and I've traditionally used a lot of very weird parts in my projects, I'm starting to feel that the supply of weird parts is getting stale. It feels like it's just kind of getting stale. I need more strange and wonderful things. Got to keep the whimsy up in a shop, you know? Ooh, some of these are really loose. Okay, now I can undo them. You can tighten these to the point where they start sticking into the plastic because the plastic's so weak. So try not to get them to that point. And that's why I redesigned this, because when you redesign it with holes in the plastic already, the 3D printer will put a bunch of border layers around that, and it makes for a nice strong post inside of your structure. That was a big thunderclap right now. Big thunderclap, like your thighs coming together. All right, so we're using the fancy power button, which uses up a ton of room, but it's fancy and it's kind of premium. That'll be around there. So we have 12 volts coming in, power button, and then everything else. This thing really does take up a lot of space. This thing is actually kind of enormous for what it is, but whatever current we're running should hopefully get through there pretty nicely. That looks like a liability. Huh. Ooh, hand cramp. What's going on with glucose levels? My hand is cramping. Wait a minute. Overlays. Hopefully this still works. BG. Nope, this one doesn't work. It doesn't. I need to reassign the button. Well, I can just do studio mode. Hold on. Studio mode. Excuse me. Frameless. And then turn on BG. GG. 157. So I've the egg salad has been dealt with glucose wise, and my glucose level is back down to normal within a very quick amount of time. Maybe that's what's causing cramps. Muscle cramps are a thing with diabetes, and when the glucose level swings around, it can tend to do stuff like that. It was always my get out of jail free card for any sort of exercise that I had to do in school. They forced us to have a like a sports elective, and so I swam. And when I didn't want to swim, I said, I get a muscle cramp. And they were like, okay. What do you mean gross egg salad? It was freaking awesome. It had some of my hot pepper, the pickled hot pepper mix that I make in it, which made it totally banging. It was awesome. Because the egg salad doesn't have, at least initially, if you don't add it, obviously you're supposed to be adding stuff like that to it, but I didn't add extra salt or spices, and so the relish was already a little bit over salty. So it really helped balance each other out. It's very, very good. And this was a relish I made with tomato as well as onion and like mustard seed. They're all very egg salad-y ingredients in that relish. Did you relish it? No, I ate it too quickly because it was too delicious. It was too good. I wolfed it down. All right, I gotta move the light in closer so I don't get frustrated and everybody gets to see what's going on. When working on projects like this, is kind of claustrophobic with you guys because all of the filming equipment takes up all the open areas. If you guys look at like what I'm doing right now from an alternative angle. And by the way, you should realize that everything in this shop is a lot smaller than you think it is. That's a comment that I get all the time. What am I hearing over there? The power supply, the uninterruptible power supply is making a little bit of noise. Maybe because the electricity is getting back to us in a weird way. But I'm hearing like a... Well, maybe it's the disk drive making noise. I don't know. But like, I've got a camera here, I've got the light here, and then I've got the microscope here. My arms barely fit in to work on the project. All right, so this thing will just solder in right there. And 1 foot there, 1 foot there. Should be this in the middle. So it really should be like this. And it'll just sit like that. I've just got to be careful that these stay separate. Wait, no, not like that. Like this. That moves it way further over though. If it's over here, it almost blocks the screw. I can still get that anchored, but it almost blocks the screw. But that's kind of where it needs to be, so we'll just put it like that. Put her there. Mm-mm-mm. We'll have to slide it into place. This is like strange surface mount soldering. Dun, dun, dun. Do, 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 dun, dun. What is that in my head now? It's the Bowser theme from like Mario World. Mario 3? Yeah, that's the Mario 3, right. You're right, you're right. But now that I said Mario World, the Game Boy music is now stuck in my head. A lot of the chord progression in there is sort of a Nintendo only thing because of the way their sound chips worked. You had these musical chords that would only occur in Game Boy games and such. Sort of the sour chord. Dad Deets, did you feel my subscription? Well, no, but I had a light communicate it to me directly into my face. The ideal light went red for your sub for 74 months, Deets. Holy crap. Thank you so much for subbing. Bum, bum. Okay, we're back to Bowser music. Dun dun. Dun dun. It just always had that little follow-up, the boom boom. You could play anything ahead of it and it would do the boom boom. Ooh, more thunder thunder. Thunderiness coming in from the window. Those are just anchors to make sure that nothing moves. And then that'll be our power switch. It's not very well aligned. It's good enough. And I've never used this power switch before, and it had been taking up a bin of my parts bins, so I might as well just throw it on to any old random part that'll have this thing out and featured. Looks like that's bending a little bit over there. I don't know. I guess it'll be okay. This will eventually fail, though. I don't know why I had it. I think it was from a bin of random hardware kind of thing. So typically I would like this to be up against the edge, but I think we can push it out just a little bit. It's not like we have an enclosure going around it. And I think fitting it in means just stretching this pin out a little bit. The distances are kind of weird on these. Yeah, see that? It's like nothing is quite in alignment. You can kind of get those two in if you push this one outwards. Ah! I mean, that's fine, but I couldn't get to the screw if it was there. It'd be like here. Even still, I think I need to move one over. Yeah, we need to go about over one. Over one! Ooh, it sounds moist out there. I'm hearing the swoosh of cars go by, which is, I love those noises. I love those rainy day noises. I'm particularly fond of that Philly style brick pathway with plants all around in the rain. All right, so these I got to solder from below. These are infernal through-hole parts. I dislike through-hole just for this very reason that I'm flipping it all the time, and you got to kind of, oh, are the pins there? Or are they the other way around? And I don't like it. I like to work exclusively surface mount. And then everything is right on that top layer. Your circuit board is, you don't need to solder it from the other direction. You can look at the values of resistors directly. Where is it? There it is. Okay. That'll be our 12-volt input, and we already have a 12-volt power thingy somewhere around here. So power in the power switch. Now we need to put an entire Arduino over here, and we need to move it over to the side. So we are recycling. We're using this thing, which may or may not have been powering this in the first place. And then I need right angle tactile buttons. I don't have a ton of those. Where did we last see them? They don't necessarily need to be right angle. They could be the tactile buttons that stick straight up, because I mean, it's not like we can, it's not like I'm putting this like in an enclosure. It's just going to be sitting on the top of this thing. So maybe I can do the ones that go straight up. Do I have anything that has right angle tactile buttons that I could steal? These are all directly up, directly up. Yeah. Yeah. That egg salad is going straight through my guts. I can feel it. Oh, there's the rest of that power supply for the screen that I threw out. I never used the power supply, but I kept it because it has a bunch of big components. Actually, we can maybe recycle some stuff from that big PSU. The big PU. I am scratching up the back of my hand. Let's get this out of here. Yeah, we'll recycle some components from here. All right, so I'll just use regular old straight up and down tactile buttons. Those I have in a kit. I think that's in this drawer. I think it's right in here. The synthesizer project has really stretched my parts supply in strange directions. Like now I have a whole bunch of tactile buttons. I've got precision capacitors. It's just strange things that you don't think you don't typically need for like low voltage DC projects, which is typically what I do. Did the YouTube chat, did that one come through? I guess I just missed it. It was a while ago. Oh, back cramp. My back is cramping. This is another thing. Well, no, I already talked about that. Muscles cramping up with diabetes. Because my glucose level this afternoon is, it just barely kind of did that. I'm now getting muscle cramps. So I've got to like target specific muscles. They feel like Charlie horses. So your muscle kind of like tightens up. And if you flex it, it will not let go. I guess because of the buildup of lactic acid, but yeah, oh, okay, it's calmed down now. Whew. That is turbo annoying. Turbo super annoying. Hey, guess what? I'm your back and I'm a muscle and I'm going to cramp up into a ball. All right, we can use these. We'll use these guys. They've got a little bit of a post sticking up on them, and I typically don't use these ones, so we'll throw 3 of these on the board. Assuming that I can grab 3 of them. Come on. There we go. 3 of those. Those will do. This is a low priority project. It doesn't get all the good parts, but it does get some weird parts. And then we need the Arduino off of this board, which is going to require a screwdriver for me to just wedge it out. Sort of. And just get it from this end. These pin headers they'll hurt you. Since I soldered the programming header under the board, I'm like prying against the programming header. That's not good. Come on, bud. Give me this thing. I don't want to just rip this out of here because then I'll end up folding the pins, which is really annoying. When you rip it out and it like tilts on you, you can like press down the pins and stuff and really kind of ruin a set of headers. What you were for specifically, I guess we'll never know. It seems like it was for a tester or something, because why else would I put female pin headers on it? But I don't remember what I was doing when I built this. Maybe you remember what I was doing when I built this. Who knows? This is going in the garbage. I tweaked my back washing my breakfast bowl this morning, 6'2" for context. I am an extremely average and boring 5'9", but that means that I do not get back problems. Typically, I just don't have back problems. I don't know what it is. Like, I'll sleep on the floor sometimes. Maybe that's what does it. But I just don't have the typical back problems. All I have are those diabetic cramps, and those affect my whole body. If I move my fingers wrong right now, they won't want to unfold. It's really like, you know, when your leg is on the verge of a Charlie horse? That's what it feels like. But it can happen anywhere, anytime. Nobody is safe. I feel for you, though. I just don't know what that's like. Due to my extreme averageness. I gotta make sure I get the right kind of header, too. I should probably just remove the special headers from this set so that I don't accidentally use my precious good working headers. So like there was this Arduino that I had, and like it was cool when I had it. That was a neat time in my life. What did I think there is? Where could I possibly have put something like that? What the? That's a gift sub. Last Miles is rating with a party of 76. Oh, Last Miles, those are some good numbers. How you doing? We're working on a levitator. And that's to say that we're not going to see anything levitate this stream just because we're working on a levitator. It's an ultrasonic levitator. What it does is it has two of these discs that are filled with ultrasonic emitters, and then they create an interference pattern with the ones above. So the ones below and above are creating high and low pressure zones in sort of using ultrasound. And so that's enough that you can levitate like little tiny drops of stuff. I remember a guy was making volumetric displays of this stuff. Last Miles is annoyed. Oh no. What didn't work out? Let me tell you something, chat. Twitch streaming. What's up, Rendog? Yeah, we just got a big bolus of people from Last Miles. How's everybody doing over there? So this ultrasonic levitator, it's pretty cool. I am going to be putting a laser in it, which it's actually built with a laser in it. The laser is for showing you where to actually try to levitate stuff. It helps you align yourself. Yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. This is, however, a project that I've already done. What we're trying to do is clean it up and put it together so that it's not a bunch of disparaging broken parts in my shop. The other use for these, though, ultrasonic things that I wanted to do, the reason that I had these in the first place, it's not worth getting into. Oh no. OpenSSL can be no fun on a strange system type, so I gave up, tossed my hands in the air. Over to you with Mega Super Geek stuff. All right. Well, you guys are in good hands because we got a lot of weird stuff going on here. I don't think we're going to be able to get this thing levitating stuff today. We spent the beginning of the stream figuring out my new hot glue situation, which is also pretty frustrating. Well, the thing about like project-y people and doing projects like this is you get to deal with hot glue on a level that makes you completely allergic to it. And the only use that I can find for hot glue is sudden structural things. Now, hot glue is neat because you can put stuff together and then you can put a little bit of rubbing alcohol on it and it will let go of everything. We put together the vertical slats that were broken with hot glue, and then the whole thing was still wobbly as hell. Just because this glue, it like barely is liquid at room, or barely is a solid at room temperature. We got rid of the wobble though, and the way that it was dealt with was that Flatulent Gonad said, why don't you put a couple wooden coffee stirrers in there or something? And I remembered during cleanup day last stream, I had a bunch of carbon fiber rods that had absolutely nowhere to go. Nowhere to go, nothing to do with these carbon fiber rods. I stuck them through here and it was an instant solution to all of the problems of gluing this thing back together. It's kind of amazing. Looking at the air gap, though, on these, I'm hoping that we don't detune this in some way, shape, or form. I got frustrated with some code. Well, if you can't tell, I'm avoiding code like the plague. I'm over here working on stuff that is so divorced from code that it's a sad... I don't know. I've lost my ability to do jokes. But yeah, we are soldering up the circuit board right now for the 12-volt input for the Arduino, and I'm putting an old Arduino in this thing in order to run the ultrasonic emitters. They had to do the person who made this project, which is oh, I hate that this mouse does that. Let's see, who was it again? This lady. Who is that? Physics girl. Yeah, they did this project, and it's just kind of like using the Arduino Nano with a jumper between D11 and D12, have it doing something weird in code that makes it sync. It's yeah, see, I don't know. I've not run into their content yet, but I guess it's on PBS. That's crazy. So the D10 and D11 are hooked up to one another, and that does something with the timing in the microcontroller, because the microcontroller is not that fast. But nowadays, we have an incredible amount of microcontroller speed. You had the ability to do jokes? Don't make me cry. Yeah, so apparently that jumper is totally necessary in order to achieve some kind of an ultrasonic syncing that makes the pulses come out properly. The only reason I know her real name is Terry David sending her funny emails. I don't know any of these names. Who's Terry Davis? Who's that? Terry Davis. I'm not going to look it up right now. I'm just going to go over to here because I'm trying to figure out what the position of all my stuff is. Now, when I'm putting an Arduino down on a project like this, I want to make sure that I can get to the programming pins. Oh, Terry Davis is the greatest programmer that's ever lived. RIP. Huh. Historically, in the past, I would have this up at a high level so that I can get a wire into the side. But I also have a header type that actually has that in there. Yeah, this is the stuff that I should be using. I was using the wrong type of header. He was an amazing programmer. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't known him in my day. I don't follow programming stuff very closely either. Because, going back to what I was saying earlier to Fadanon, I can't joke. Oh, he's the Temple OS guy. Oh, I know the Temple OS guy. Yeah, talking about the feds looking glowy. That dude lost his mind for sure. People are mocking him, but the kernel and ASM code he did, yeah, so apparently, yeah, I don't think anybody mocking him is not calling him a genius level programmer. I think that's... She did a lot of really neat physics video content on YouTube, but hasn't posted much in the last several years because she came down with an incredibly serious case of long COVID. I think I heard about that. Oh God, just as I said, heard about that, there was a giant thunder boom in the distance. That was ominous. Yeah, man, I think I heard about that. These are the headers that I like to use. The feature that I like to use about them, on them, is that they've got these cups, and those cups mean that they stick up from the circuit board a little bit, which means that I can solder them on either side. It's kind of an important thing when I do these little thingamajigs. How does anybody get COVID when there's a perfectly fine vaccine that works? Well, some of us got COVID before there was the vaccine that works. This is not recent news. Yeah, but she's partially back better. That's very good. And even with the vaccine, you can still get COVID, and it can be kind of sucky. Long COVID is a hell of a thing to have to endure. definitely get your vaccines, kids, because it's a doozy. As a type 1 diabetic, I am definitely getting those vaccines. Got over the initial infection. It was the immune response that left her completely unable to function. Damn. That sucks. So I'm trying to plug these headers in so that I can solder them and have them be in alignment. They're kind of a pain to plug in, but these are lower profile than your typical DuPont headers, and they, I don't know, they make a better connection. They're more expensive, but I buy them in bulk once and complain about what the money that I spent for like a week, and then I get to forget about it. Yeah, that puts a strain on our buttons, doesn't it? Our buttons. I've gotten COVID after the vaccine, and I believe I still got it before the vaccine. Damn. Yeah, it's kind of rough and tumble out there. My whole thing about being able to solder from both sides is kind of negated by the fact that I don't have any space left on the board. This is not going in at a right angle. It's got to go here. And I need room for the screw. Oh, geez. I think I need to go like this. I need to back it up a little bit. So that's got to sit there. Unless I drill out a larger circuit board. But this has to leave room for the head of the screw that goes right here. So moving it back one thing of holes, there's not a lot of room for anything else. Don't trust the new MNRA. I mean, I don't think there's anything too bad about it. But I ain't no scientist. I listen to those scientists. They know what they're talking about. So these tactile buttons are like ubiquitous. They're pretty good. You can hit them from the side. You can hit them from above. It's basically just a little disc of metal that pops in and out in order to complete contact. So you think there's some kind of magical stuff going into this. No, it's just a metal disc that just kind of pops when you click it, right? And that gives you a little tactile feedback so that you know you've hit a button. The legs on these things are for some kind of a weird alien layout of board. I think they tried to have them spring into the perforated prototyping board or whatever holes you put in your PCB and hold itself at a particular distance. But I find these to just generally be obnoxious, and the spacing on them is weird. But I can get them to fit. I just need to kind of manipulate them into place. And I could go to the edges here and just clamp on them with a pair of pliers, and that'll just straighten out the legs a little bit and make them a little easier to work with. The wiring pliers have like 1,001 uses in the shop. They're kind of incredible. So the question is, do I want the pins to be out the top and the bottom or the sides? I think I want them to be out the sides. I think that's what I want to do. Because if they're out the top and the bottom, I can't really get to them. Although I am going to have to be doing a lot of through-hole kind of stuff with this whole setup. So, because the whole thing fell in. I still have to continue my playthrough of Abiotic Factor. 1.0 came out, and I kind of slept on it, and I didn't really get that far. But I've got a lot of the sound effects are stuck in my head. I'm hearing it right now. I'm almost to where you got stuck. I was in the middle of reactors and it just became too fighty. But I still needed to get into like the super cheese. I think I could super cheese my way through the reactors just by planting and building turrets and stuff. I am going to start over for 1.0. When I eventually got COVID, it didn't hit me very hard. Very lucky. Kind of glad, since there was a vaccine by a company I don't recall that showed to be too many blood clot forming. Well, you got to be careful with data like that. I mean, yeah, we don't know a ton about the mRNA stuff now. We will, and we have had studies done, and it seems to be good and effective. But I don't know. people cherry pick data a lot for that kind of stuff. I'll have to solder these in from this side. Oh, jeez, come on. Come on, man. This thing's just flying all over the place. If you need help, hit me up. I might. I don't think I can get through everything again just fine. And this time it's paced a little better too, because they've actually, the additions that were like too easy at the time were kind of weird. They sort of made stuff to bridge between different areas that were like a mid difficulty, but I was like way past that at the time. Straighten all the things out and then get them on the board. Leave one spacing in between them, which makes this pretty tight actually. So I'm gonna move this over to the edge. These things are never aligned properly. They really are annoying. It looks like I have only enough room for the stuff that I'm putting into this, which is a sign of a good-sized perf board, is that you can barely fit all the components of your project on it. It's not really a good place to be because there's nowhere for the wires to interconnect anything, but I can live with it because I'm good at working very tight. There's not a ton that this circuit board needs to do. Let's just solder in some of the stuff and get it kind of locked into place, and then we'll sort of adjourn for the night, and then we'll be back tomorrow and work on it some more. I just want to get this into a place where everything isn't going to fly all over the place. Guess we do this with a microscope. You have to do this extra step of like pushing these down to be flush with the board. I'm sure there are ones that work with the perforated board perfectly fine, but we do not have those. And then there's the muscle cramp from my finger. Jeez, leave me alone. Muscle cramps. Did the iron just turn off? Jeez. I hit the button on the front of the iron. That's the IntelliHeat system that supposedly keeps me from burning down my entire house. It says, oh, you know, you've used the iron recently, but I just saw another current drop, so I'm gonna just turn off. I'll just turn off. You gotta hit a button to prove to me that you're awake. Please scan your ID. All right, there are the buttons mostly in. It is not easier to hold on to the buttons and keep them facing the right direction. So I'm doing them from the other side. Oops. That's why I do stuff from the front, is that you can keep everything facing the proper direction. Guess I can put indicator LEDs in that no man's land between components there. So now to anchor the Arduino, I am just going to solder one corner and then the other while holding it from the other side so that it stays flush with the PCB. This is something that I could do from the other side of the board, but the buttons are in the way. So there's one there. Let's get the other corner, and that way it'll just hold flat. Okay. That is not sitting fully down. Maybe it is. Oh yeah, it totally is. All right, so let's just clean up and get all these unsoldered pins soldered. All you unsoldered pins. This would be the visual ASMR soldering stream. Where you guys get to hear me say solder a lot. Solder. I would have liked to find right angle tactile buttons because that kind of makes it fit a little bit better in with the whole board, but this will do. I guess this will do. And then we've got to figure out what's going to mount that laser. I could probably take one of my other plastic laser mounts and glue it on, or we could just put the barrel through there at a right angle with hot glue, and that way if I ever need to adjust it, I can just hit it with like a heat gun. And the laser just very simply hooks up to everything else. I don't have a green laser that I can use for that, and I think a blue laser might be too powerful. It might be too much. So if we go with red, it was really nice with the green laser because that green has like a particular sparkle to it when it hits water. But I don't know, I got what I got. I got to use what I got. Not allowed to order parts anymore. Ooh, that's a big rolling thunder thing in the background. I may have to, I'm just gonna end in a little bit. Stream, once I'm done this soldering, we're gonna adjourn because the thunder is threatening my power. When the power goes out, bad things happen around here. Horrifying things. Now it's a whole bunch of like, a whole bunch of battery backups scream, and then the generator flips on, and hopefully it doesn't ruin all of my electronics in doing so. That's what happens around here. All right. So the bulk of the soldering has been done. The rest of the wiring is fairly simple. We've got our power input, we've got our switch, we have the Arduino and 3 buttons. The Arduino has a couple connections that go to the motor controller that we've mounted to the top of this thing. So we've got significant progress in this resurrection of an old project. So I'll need a couple indicator LEDs. We'll use some fun colors on that. And then we need to wire all this stuff up to each other. And then I need to throw code onto the microcontroller, which already exists. It'll be easy enough to do. We then plug this thing together. I get a 12-volt supply on it, and then we're hovering stuff. So next stream, we will hover stuff in the air using the ultrasonic levitator. And this project will be resurrected in such a state that I can put it on a shelf and I can get it off of the shelf and I know it'll work. Because before it was some kind of a disaster that was on perforated or on solderless breadboard. So, can you hover more than styrofoam balls? No. It has to be like dust. You can hover dust or little droplets of water that will dry up in front of your very eyes. Anything heavier you just can't do. You just can't. It's kind of incredible. All right, so here's the end card. I'm going to be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. I start at, well, 20 hours from now. It's just in approximately 20 hours. There's no minutes or seconds. Did I get it that close to 20 hours, or is it estimating differently now? I think maybe Nightbot is estimating differently now. It just doesn't give us as much information. I'm okay with that, but I thought it was funny when it was super duper specific. Yeah, same bat cave, same bat basement. Well, thank you all for joining me. I don't know where to put you guys. Maybe you guys can just go find another tech streamer or watch Robots do gotcha games. Ugh. But I'm going to be here tomorrow, and everybody here should check out Last Miles because they also do a tech stream, and it's really cool. It's like those laser tweezers that physicists use. You can levitate only the smallest things. That, I mean, I think they called it a tractor beam, but it's like a really super weak tractor beam. And what you're levitating has to be small enough to fit within the interference waves. So, all right, that said, I will catch you guys later. I'm going to go to this before lightning takes out the whole channel.